meeting to order. Our opening business, we have an invocation, pledge, and approval of agenda. Mr. Smith, if you would lead us in the invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll pray. Father, thank you for the day that you allow us to wake up and enjoy. Thank you for all you do for us, for the blessings on Grayson County. On this board, we pray that you be with them as decisions are made about our coming budget. That you be with each and all. It's in your name we pray. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this point, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm also aye. Let's give it just a couple minutes here for Supervisor Thompson to show up. She texted that she was close.
We had that special that part. We open up the secret door. That's
Well, I'm impressed how punctual she is for county meetings.
Yeah. I think you can make 6 copies. We just want to grab the list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just,
Okay.
I was just gonna grab it.
Making cows healthy is an important job, isn't it? Right.
And this is all week, so. I carry this down until 4 fire people are have an issue. They call this number and force to the phone. I try to talk about the issue. Which is last time I was on call, I got no call for 7 minutes. This time I've been 4 days after 20 calls. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Sorry, gentlemen, ladies, everybody.
How are you?
I'm great.
We've been put on 4 committees.
Good. We've got plenty of time. No time to deal.
Just to catch you up to speed, we just got to the approval agenda. Gave you comments. We'll move right along, new business, resolution amendment to the comprehensive plan and zoning ordinance. It's attached in your agenda packet. Ms. Black, do you want to take us through this? This is the resolution that we made the motion to our last meeting.
Yeah, last meeting, last Thursday. The board requested that staff
provide a resolution for amendments to the comprehensive plan and the zoning text. And that resolution is before you. Would you like for me to read it?
I've read it.
I have
I
to.
think
It's
we can
okay.
waive the reading of it. You need a minute?
Oh, no,
Okay.
if it's the same one we received.
Yes.
Okay.
Have any
This,
questions for me before you?
as I understand, this is just a resolution asking the planning commission to once again announce a public hearing with changes to the comprehensive plan.
So, I will let the board know that I work with Berkeley Group, and, if the resolution is passed, we will have a work session with the planning commission on the 14th, which is next Tuesday, here in the boardroom, to, go over all of these, amendments that you have requested. And I have had a placeholder in the paper. We'll advertise tomorrow and again on the 15th for public hearing, for those amendments, so that it will go to the board of supervisors for final approval in the June meeting.
Okay, and it requires two,
Yes, sir.
announcements.
Yes, public hearing, on the 21st of May with planning commission. And then again, we'll advertise 2 more times for the board of supervisors at the June meeting.
I had one question. I've meant to ask you this for a while now, but when we are talking about utility scale wind or solar, are we excluding like small farms that may use solar on their facility, their barn, or?
The way I understood at our meeting last Thursday, we are excluding or precluding utility scale wind, not utility scale solar. So we will have small scale and large scale in the ordinance, in addition to accessory, which would be considered residential.
Okay.
Okay, this time I'll entertain a motion to approve the resolution or adopt the resolution, excuse me.
So will.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Because we're adopting a resolution, it requires a roll call vote. Supervisor Anderson,
Aye.
Supervisor Ash.
Aye.
Supervisor Cornett.
Aye.
Supervisor Tomlinson.
Aye.
Chair is also aye. Okay, at this point, we'll move into, is that all you need from us?
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll move into budget work session.
Ready? Yeah,
Quick question, there's not
we may be here for a while.
we may be here for a while, but there's not a time, place on the schedule for public comment. I was wondering, can we do public comment before so they don't have to sit here and listen for 3 hours?
Yeah, sure. I'm going. Unless you want to stay for a 5-hour work session.
I hope it's not 5 hours on the bus. 5 hours.
That'll work. Yeah, okay.
Is that okay with you, Mr. Danny, if y'all speak first?
Okay, all right. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. I just wanted to,
Real
Right.
quick for the record, we need a name and address.
okay, Danny Boyer, 8784 Spring Valley Road, Freeze, Virginia. Also 1391 Nile Road, Sparta, North Carolina. The farms in Grayson and the household is one of the households that is in Sparta. But thank you. So on the support of agricultural land, including forestry, and the services that go toward that agricultural land. I'm a huge proponent of making sure that those services remain. Ag is the largest industry, as everybody knows, in the state of Virginia, the largest industry in Grayson County. And we've all looked, I've had for a long time, Brantley and Mitch, for a silver bullet on the farm, a grass that didn't require much fertilizer, much lime, cheap seed and you just throw it out and it automatically comes up, but we never found that. So, we want silver bullets for our economy also. And we'd love for a big industry to come in and provide a lot of jobs and pay a lot of taxes and help support us. But what we have is ag. And so supporting of ag is of utmost importance. The statistics from NAS has just come out for 23, and you got it in 24, February 24. Anybody guess how many dollars ag generates in the state of Virginia? $82.3 billion in the state of Virginia. That provides 381,800 jobs in the state of Virginia. Every one of those jobs generates another 1.6 in associated jobs to keep that going. So it is a big industry. It is worthwhile. When you include forestry in there, the total impact of ag and forestry is $105 billion and 500,000 jobs in the Commonwealth. So, it is a big deal. So also the census come out. So about every 4 years, usually it's 5, but supposedly it's every 4. And I think we lost, and Kevin, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 farms in Grayson County in that period, at that time frame. So the farms are decreasing. So what does that do? That has an impact on groundwater recharge, something that we normally don't think about a whole lot, but it has a huge impact on groundwater recharge, air quality, production of food and fiber, all of those things in the state and eastern United States. And these are February the 13th, 24 numbers. There's about 20 states here. Tennessee, Kentucky, Wisconsin, Arkansas, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, West Virginia, Maryland. There's a loss of farms in the 5-year period from 2017 to 2022. The top state losing farms, they lost 6,878 farms, Tennessee, in that 5-year period. Guess where Virginia is in those? Number five in farm loss. 4,230 farms lost in the state of Virginia. We just heard from the ag census, Grayson has lost some farms. So is it important for us to take care of that and from the standpoint of our economy? Absolutely so. The ag economy is here. So anything that we can do to support it and keep the land in open state in the production of food and fiber is a positive for the county. Ag land, and there's been a lot of discussion for a long, long time on the taxation of farmland. Okay, so it's farmland supplements the other services provided by the county. What's happening is it's getting to be a smaller and smaller and smaller number, providing a greater and greater and greater dollar value of support in the county. So there's maybe need to be a time that there's some adjustment there. But we need to make sure that we're taking care and not losing the farmland. The state of Arkansas, and this is something I ran across, a couple of weeks ago. Their land is being bought up in a very fast pace by Saudi Arabia. They're buying and leasing all the land in the state of Arkansas. There's no regulation that they have that can check that or stop it or slow it down. And of course we like the freedom of the individual freedom to do the things that we need. The reason Saudi Arabia is doing that is it's against the law in Saudi Arabia to grow alfalfa.
And I'm trying to hold you to 5 minutes here.
Okay, then I'll get on with it. Thank you. Appreciate it. You can give me the sign. So, they're renting the land, growing alfalfa. The reason they don't do it, it sucks too much water out of the ground in Saudi Arabia. And they're shipping all of that stuff back to Saudi Arabia, the alfalfa to feed the dairy cattle over there. So, the carbon footprint is pretty big. But from that standpoint, I'm highly in favor of the services, whether it be extension, EDA, or any of the other services, agritourism, in support of the ag land. Ag land is always revenue positive for the county. It's always revenue positive. Individual homeowners, house and lot, they're always revenue negative. And those figures, there's a lot of the data around, and if you want more information on that, I can get it to it. So, the ag land is supplemented, and it's getting to be, again, a lot more supplementation there. So, from the standpoint of the services provided, Arkansas is trying to come up with a way to, slow down the pace of that land getting gone. We don't want to wait in Grayson County or in Southwest Virginia or in the state of Virginia until we're in that situation. So I think now's the time to support the services for the ag land and, make sure that we have adequate water. The recharge is a big deal. If you're going to have any other industry, you're going to have water. The livestock industry, animal industry is moving from the West Coast to the East Coast because of lack of water. Dairies pretty much left California because they couldn't get enough water. They was competing with the almond farmers. The almond farmers won out. Now the almond farmers are leaving because they're competing with the people. Okay, so we need to have this open space. If we don't do it with the recharge or the groundwater, we're not going to have water. Got to sign. This question,
Corey, thank
Thanks, Dan.
Well, I'm glad I let him go first, because I didn't come prepared to say all that. I'm Jimmy Osborne, 3889 Western Highway, Independence. I'm here today to say that I, like Danny, much support what the Board of Supervisors of our county provides for agri services. I spent, basically all my life through ag programs in schools, so extension programs at Dick Castle, which most of y'all never knew, that help people in Grayson County. And those programs that we have, I spent 34 years with extension while he was doing his tour with NRCS. And between that, we were able to put a lot of programs together that you can still see the positive effects today of like especially the groundwater bill. It is a major big deal. You go by anywhere away from Grayson County, and not too far from many counties away, and you don't have the same thing you got in Grayson County as far as our ag sustainability of resources, the forestry that we have, the beauty that we have that we've protected through zoning, those things that's there to keep our county what it is. I think providing anything that would diminish the support we have for that, I think puts us in a bind. We may not see it today, but 10, 15, 20 years from now, we hope Grayson County stays just as beautiful and resourceful as it is now. And if we diminish these programs, it not only affects our farmland, it affects everybody else around, including youth. We have a lot of youth in the county that involved in ag programs too, and so I hope that we can see the need to continue those things also. I didn't come with all the statistics he had. I just came to say I think we need to keep everything moving forward to protect our resources.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
With that,
Okay, we'll move on to budget work session, Mr. Gordon.
Since y'all, welcome to stay.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay.
Well,
We're gonna-
I think I'm going to take off of this.
Oh, ready to have something or?
No, I'm listening.
All right, okay.
Thank you all. See y'all.
see you. Thank y'all.
All right, let's get, we're here to talk numbers. Figure out where we're gonna land. Figure out where we're gonna land here, right? Okay. So, we'll do a few slides, we'll go through the presentation. Might be easier if we just go through the presentation and then kind of, nail it in and could go down rabbit holes, you know, some people don't want to go down rabbit holes, can't get them out of, you know. Anyway, so let's get through a few slides here.
I didn't know.
Why is everybody looking at
I don't know,
that?
'cause I go through some rabbit holes.
We don't have rabbit hole.
Real quick, just to level set us here. So this is our, we have a budget board session today. It's focused on PSA and special projects, so CIP request for next fiscal year. Next step is on in 2 days to request public hearing for our budget for 25. The legal ad on 5/15 goes in the Gazette and declaration notifying for public hearing. And on 5/23, Board of Supervisors holds a public hearing on the county budget and a final work session on 5/23. And on your next, in June, is your approval of the county budget. So we're coming down to the wire here, so we need to really tighten. Gotta figure out, gotta make some decisions today, that's where we're at. Might make sense. Any questions on that? Good, okay.
We're almost to the finish line.
Okay, our goals for today, determine water rates and refuse fees. The two things we talked about before. We have some updates on refuse fees. We made a decision, we made a recommendation on water rates, and you guys can talk about it. We have to select the remaining ARPA projects in the past. We have a slide on ARPA projects. Of items that have already been approved and that we're working on. And we have some remaining money to allocate, that has to be allocated, or I'm sorry, has to be obligated by the end of this calendar year. So we have to make decisions. We need to make decisions on CIP. We have CIP projects. We want to determine what projects we want to complete in 25. I may not want to complete any, but you may want to complete some. So just for discussion. And general fund, it is time to balance the budget, which is always fun. Okay? Any questions on that? Okay. What we know today is our water fund is still operating in excess of about $175,000. So we're at the water fund. So just a reminder, that's Old Town, Fairview, 440, Mitch, 450 customers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Louisville Lane project is going to cost $550,000. RFP is coming out in this month, next month, Mitch. RFP project's coming out for Louisville Lane.
Yes.
Remaining
Sorry,
ARPA
I'm
funds.
trying to take notes too.
That's okay, I'm sorry. Remaining ARPA funds and projects, and CIP projects. We talked about those things as well. Okay. Next slide.
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I've basically done is summarize very concisely our water revenue and expenses and what that difference is. So, and I'm comparing 2023 to a budget of 2025, 2023 actual. So our total water revenue for 2023 was $224,000. Our estimate that we budgeted this year is $335,000, but it's important to note that that is with a rate increase of 35%.
I don't have a question.
Okay. So we've already factored that in when we're looking at this slide. The water expenses in 2023 actual was $399,000. We're predicting in 2025 it's going to be closer to $456,000. The reason I use 2023 is because we have not finished our year for 24, so it wouldn't really be apples to oranges. So the difference between the deficit, basically the deficit in 23 was $175,000, like Steve stated at the end of the presentation. Right now, even with a 35% increase in revenue, the deficit is $121,000.
So let me add a little bit to this. So that's $9 a month, especially what the average is.
On top of what was the original,
$26 a month.
there's $35.
$35 a month. That's what it goes to. We still, I met with KLX yesterday about their water rates, try to get us from 650 to 550. He still hasn't given me an answer on that. So that's some hanging chat out there that we might get a little bit of relief on this. We can't I can't understand why he wants to reach out to a single customer. I don't think he has. I think he's a little just busy. I'm gonna have another meeting with him prior to our finalization of this to see if I can get him to commit to the 550.
What would that do in terms of dollar a gallon, changing that deficit?
So they charge us right now $6.50. I'm not 100% of this. Maybe for the year, maybe 50.
50,000?
Yeah.
But right now, deficit of 121,000, you're essentially asking everybody in the population to pay $10 extra a year for 150 people to get fresh water.
Or
My thoughts on that are, this is a voluntary service. I know some people have to have it because they don't have another choice. They can't drill a well, they won't get water, but a lot of these people could. And I'm not saying make it zero, maybe, but I just don't feel it's right for everybody else to pay for those 400, as Brett was saying. I know 35% is a lot, but we're still 121,000 in the hole.
I don't think any of us like it, but there's gotta be it's gotta come from somewhere.
Because like I said before, if my well pump goes out, county's not writing me a
Right.
check for.
So what I would say at this point is to make a note on your, make a note of 121, and I said, but I'm talking 121.5 is basically where we're at. And we can come back to that discussion if we need to. We've been operating in a deficit for years. This is not something new that's come about. This is something that has been happening for some time. That's where we're at. That's the numbers. That's the real kind of drill down numbers of where we think we're at right now.
And so I got a rabbit hole. If I understood correctly, we discussed the water before. If we add more people to it, we're not getting any benefit, right?
Going in the hole.
And if anybody goes off of it, is that, like, let's say 100 of these customers decide they want to dig their own well because the rate's just gotten more than they want to, where does that put us?
Well, it would be a usage number then, right? It'd still be a usage.
Your
Our usage
expenses
rate.
that are related to utilization of the water would go down, but your fixed costs
We're
would
still
remain.
there. I mean, right now, you got, we have factored in some part-time help. We are surviving on one employee and our maintenance staff. When this stuff goes down on the weekends, at night, one employee it is a challenge to have one employee keep available 24/7 when water goes down. Creates a real challenge.
Well, it was told to this body last year that the water it's just a pass-through expense. And I've kind of been shocked to see it. Did y'all?
Yes, that's what
not
we're
hear
told,
that
yeah.
it's a complete pass-through expense.
This number right there, the 175, was taken right out of the audit. So I mean, they're audited figures. We are operating at a deficit. It's not.
I'm not saying this is
No,
the first time we've seen it, but this
Mhm.
year's the first time that we've seen it. It was told to us last year that the water is just a pass-through expense and it doesn't cost the county anything. But if I'm doing my math right, to the difference on that 121,556 over 450 customers, you'd have to raise it to 35% plus an additional $22 a month just to cover it. So now you're looking at a $70 a month water bill.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, there's not an easy fix on this. And we've been in the red on this forever.
A long time. Yeah. When I came to work here, that was one of the things that was being, part of the budget was being added to take care of the deficit. At that point, it was $35,000. That's 15 years ago.
Talking to Galax, you know, your state, they're getting ready to foot a $16 million bill to try to, re-engineer, redesign, and try to maintain the water plant that they have. It's a $16 million bill. But started at 80, got to 40. They whittled it down to surviving on $16 million.
Are other water systems breaking even?
Routedale is breaking even. I got a text from Laura today in Independence, and she said, I would expect changes in water sewer rates that will impact county residents. I don't know what that looks like yet.
Yeah, I heard they were looking at it. I'm not gonna put the number. I was thinking maybe 20%, but that may not be right. The other thing is the grant water system customers included in what would be a rate increase? Okay, good.
They're not.
That's a good thing.
This is just specifically to get like.
Because the debt's coming from, the problem's coming from Galax, not Troutdale.
Right, but I thought at one point, because it was a PSA, that you couldn't just change the rate for a certain group, you had to, like they were all, did we have that? Wasn't that mentioned in here once before?
That's why I asked, I thought it was something.
Somebody asked that question.
I've not seen different rates for different systems.
I mean, legally, because it's an authority, can you have a different rate?
Well, you would, if you, we adopted two different rates for each system? No. I don't think so.
They are raising the rates in Troutdale on Grant. Can't remember, it was 20 to 24 is what the proposal was. But I had not heard that discussion about raising their rates based on what's going on in Old Galax. I guess what the research said, can we raise rates just for that specific area?
Yeah, because they're looking at a significant increase, I'm thinking, but the town of Troutdale and the town of Independence, they control their rates, correct?
Yes, they do. Yeah. And
So people that live in the town of Independence, they're paying for their water and some other people's water. And
Well, and I think if you have a house and you're not living there, you have to pay the minimum rate, whether you're using it or not. Or I did.
Talking about town
Couple
residents?
houses.
down in Independence.
Yeah, in town. And I was told Carroll County, if you could hook up to their water system,
You had to.
you pay a minimum. You pay the bill whether you're hooked up or not. I'm not advocating for that, but I'm just saying that's probably how they help cover the cost.
That was part of the grant,
Okay.
to get that line installed.
Because there's a house I dealt with, guy had a well on a septic, but he had to pay, he said he couldn't remember, the $25-30 a month just to not use it.
One of the things I definitely would say is if we get a hint of a future project, let's start the planning of that project way ahead of time. There's money.
I agree.
I sent you an article on the 21 million in a county guide, and I noticed local lanes been batted back and forth, and then the PSA decided to go forward, and if there's a hint of a water construction project, let us do the staff work to try to get money, because it'll take a couple of years to get it done, but let us get after it.
But hadn't this been going on a couple of years?
Yeah, we've been drawing that little line since I've been on.
Was there just no activity on getting grants?
I have to defer.
The PSA at that time, I decided not to do it, my recollection. And as we went forward, then COVID hit, and it was kind of a non-discussion then, and when we came back post-COVID, the project had doubled.
And we decided to do it then.
Well, there was a meeting where the Louisville Lane residents showed up. And the PSA at that time heard them out and felt like at that time they wanted to do the project.
Yeah.
But if we decided, we're at the point now we can't go back and do the grants, is what you're saying.
But it's probably a 2-year process. My guess, it'd be a maybe.
You got $100,000 reimbursable through the Mount Rogers that you can get.
We think.
We think.
Well, he said.
He said it's verbal. We don't,
Well, he has documentation on email.
That's the other thing is we're gonna spend $500,000 to bring 14 people into a system that's already losing money.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
We're bringing them on to make the loss more.
Well, when we made that decision before to help with Lane, we were operating under this was passed through, we weren't going in along the overall water system.
on the overall monthly water,
Right,
we
right.
knew that there was gonna have to be some money spent on Louisville
Right,
Lane.
right.
And there was, I believe, ARPA money that we were gonna dedicate to get that done, if I recall correct.
And there was, and the reason, there was a sense of urgency because at that time, Paul was saying he couldn't even apply for the grants until the following spring, if I remember correctly, maybe not 100%, but. So we wanted to go ahead and move forward.
Well, this water system and Louisville Lane is a big part of our budget discussion today. And I think we need to,
What option do we have?
that's kind of where I am. Where
Like, because you're saying if, I think what I'm hearing you is you're saying if we had to slow down on this a little bit, we might have could have got some funds somewhere else.
I don't know, I'm not done, I'm not, this is the first time it's my first time. I think Nikki had said to me, she goes, why didn't you guys go through USDA or rural a long time ago? And I go, I wasn't here a long time ago.
Right.
And talked to Mitch, and Mitch said, well, the board was back and forth, and then he gave me the story, and I was like, I mean, the board had made the decision. I don't think I was at the PSA meeting. The board made the decision, we want to go forward with this. The board supervisor, okay, well, then I'm in implementation phase.
Right.
Let's go execute it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't even know if you were here when we made that
Yeah.
decision, but is it too late to do that? Or you're saying if we stop now, it'd be 2 years?
Well, the projects I've seen are generally taking a couple of years to execute on those projects.
Plus, all the engineering work that we've already paid $75,000 for, probably obsolete at that time, that to be redone again.
I don't know that.
I can't imagine that the engineering work would have to be redone.
We had to the first time we did it, we had to update it again for this time.
Well,
Maybe that.
do you have, options for us on the next slide?
I'm not saying.
Okay.
Let's look at that.
Just, again, I think you need to put a marker down on where that 121 is, okay? Okay,
That number is included in your general fund budget also, the transfer to the PSA cover that loss.
we've taken that step based on prior direction, okay? Okay, here's our ARPA funding, everybody can see, we got $3 million. Total expenditures today at the Louisville Lane, 70,000. Money obligated on projects that you approved already, 1.16, amount remaining 788. Okay, here's our recommended projects that we know about and that we are planning on going forward with unless we have some other discussion. Louisville Lane, 450, again, we're counting on get that grant for $100,000. We talked about our website forever. I put 35, I'm thinking maybe a little bit less, not exactly sure. But we have worked with multiple companies now to figure out how do we have a viable website. We can take payments online. We have fillable forms, everything that, if you look on Floyd's website or Carol's website, something that would be useful for the county, okay? A baler for public works. They requested a baler. Mitch got a baler. How long ago was it, Mitch?
13, 14 years ago.
13, 14 years ago, for $3,500. Still, but it is so old that we're not going to use it myself. So at some point we'll have to buy a baler, so we put that.
And that's an actual used van.
And that'd be a huge, a brand new one for $200,000.
That's what goes on the back of the truck, correct?
No,
Or is that what's at the
Inside.
grant one?
inside the brand.
Huge.
We worked with the sheriff's office to decrease the budget line in the sheriff's office. One of the things he stressed to me was we really need an ACO vehicle. It has to be updated with certain standards and air conditioner or something like that. What was it?
The dog box, they changed the state code, so now the dog box has to be ventilated.
Ventilator.
You have got to be kidding.
No,
Is it required by state code that we have to have an animal control
I don't know the answer to that.
A rabid dog needs air conditioning.
Do you know about it? I mean, I know that position used to work.
Out of this.
I know they-
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not, that all beer's pretty good.
That moves up good, don't it?
Yeah, let's know.
I'd say,
If a dog box don't cost it.
Are they actually talking about a van?
What?
Are they discussing like a van size vehicle?
Yeah.
Pickup truck.
Pickup truck.
Pickup truck and then dog box in the back?
Yeah.
But this is,
like a coupe would
I think most state vehicles that are packaged for police, I think that's about it. I think it's about
They are actually applying for a grant for the actual dog box itself,
Gets back to the camera.
so that does not include the box.
This is a truck they have a lot of miles on it.
So that was the one area that if we could help them, they would really appreciate the help. We reduced significantly the amount of vehicles in their budget. And, so. That was
That
one.
HCO truck been in service several years.
The pump, we found out on Monday that, it's raining inside the public works building. We don't have an exact number on what that's gonna cost, so we don't have quotes yet. But Jonathan gave us a kind of swag.
And that is property owned by the county. We don't lease it from, it's owned
We
by
own
the
it,
county.
right?
We bought that several years ago. We rented it enough to pay for it.
You feel
Several years. But
Monday. And actually, I got the number from Kim, I don't know if John.
Oh,
knows it's in his budget, but I requested that.
Did a flat tar roof. Oh, we don't need to get the weed on that.
And then we left a contingency for Owen, just because there's always some
In case we don't get the grant on Mobile Lane or if something runs over.
So these are the projects that we know of for ARPA. Are there other projects?
Do you want me to go over the list of projects that are, that's what I wanted to go into
Yep.
that.
100%.
The projects right now that we have ongoing, this did not print out nicely, but, the broadband tower for Point Lookout. Okay, there's an ambulance for EMS,
Where's this money coming from, Nikki?
ARPA.
All right, so
Okay, so
These are
that's
the
the,
ARPA that they are in the
that's
obligated
the,
to be
that's been
spent.
obligated.
obligated to be
Yes.
spent.
Gotcha.
Okay, we, the Point Lookout communication housing, basically. Electronic poll books, we did invest in some electronic poll books for the registrar's office. Got a Kubota tractor for recreation in a shed. And, a sanitation vehicle that they just went out and spec, but I don't know what that is.
That is they didn't have a bed. What was the last truck they just got?
It's one of them.
They could put the other bed on, right?
The other bed, we have a truck that has a good bed, chassis, you know, but yeah, they're gonna change it over.
when you said poll books, is that for?
25-yard bed.
I believe so. We'll double check that. So those are what we currently have in terms of.
And that eats up to 1.1. I'm
Yes.
assuming the sanitation truck is the biggest chunk of that.
No, it's only 69,000. Broadband tower is a big chunk in the ambulance for EMS.
When you talk about the sanitation truck, is that one of the smaller trucks?
That's not really a sanitation.
No, it's one of the trucks that we're gonna put a 25-yard compactor on. But if you bought that whole truck new, you're spending
Yeah.
still $300,000.
Who's the ambulance going to?
They would, didn't it?
The first one's.
This was from 2013.
Yeah, 2 years
I mean,
ago.
20.
Yeah, because the way it is, so long, it's supposed to be going to Baywood.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Is this that same thing where they have to request the funds to finance it, or is Baywood doing it
No.
differently than they just want the county to outright?
We're taking care of that. That's different than the fire trucks.
Okay.
You guys made a decision on the fire trucks, to give money to the volunteer organizations. This is different. We're buying these.
So the county will own these?
Given the discussion that we've had with EMS and how many calls Baywood is missing this, about EMS, but if we don't have the volunteers to run the ambulance, how much was that? 400 and some?
225.
225,000.
And a half.
I mean, that won't improve the call rate success just by having a new ambulance.
Well, one's already been ordered. It's on the way. Which all, is this a new one for this one?
Now, there's another one in the 25
5.
budget.
This animals we're talking about will be here in September.
Yeah.
November.
November is what
But
they
I
said.
mean, like they would responded to this fire up here in Independence too. I mean, it's not, I know. they're-
Well, I'm not talking so much about fire squad as I am EMS.
Well, I'm talking about the EMS, the rescue squad. But, I mean, if we own it and something happens to Baywood Rescue Squad, we can just reallocate to another, the next one in
It
need.
could go to Independence. I think the next one I hear is Mount Rogers. So
Yeah.
the county will own. I think that's an important part of it, because we do need ambulances in the county. I think it'll get good use.
And if we have more paid down the road, that'll be,
We would
Something
already
they can
have a unit to
Yeah.
start doing that.
It's already been obligated anyway. So
and when you say obligated, there's no turning back on that, right?
You're just,
Is that-
you're just letting us know where.
Verbally,
Yeah, we
oh,
probably.
it's already
turn
ordered,
back
so
on
it's
it.
obligated. I mean, so we,
So the things that have not been obligated are these projects right here.
The last,
Louisville Lane, the upgrade on the website, trailer for public works, animal control vehicle, and the roof on public works.
those are the things that haven't been obligated.
I guess,
But remember, we have till the end of this calendar year to obligate this money.
And if we don't obligate it, we lose it.
right.
Right.
And it has to be obligated by December and spent by June.
Well, the animal control vehicles is one that I guess just jumps out at me.
For me, just cause I'm a in the field type of girl.
Do you have air
I'm gonna
conditioning?
say the upgrade to the website would be the one if we needed to. I mean, I know it needs upgrade. I know it does. It's not very usable or user friendly, but I'm looking at the other ones, I'm like, they just about can't function, you know? I don't have a problem with it being on there.
I'm really in favor of upgrading the website, because I was looking yesterday at other counties' budgets, and you can go to Carroll County, you can pull up their budget, you can go to all these other counties, and in Grayson, I couldn't even find it. Is it even on the website?
It's probably one of the top three.
I think it's for state law that it's supposed to be
I
on
mean,
there.
it needs.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, Mary, but if we can fit it in there, I think we should.
And
I
it
think
looks
that's
like
more
we can
important than
comfortably fit all these trucks.
These are not things we can't
Yeah.
do. It's if you have a greater priority. you
Right.
Understand what the priority
Mhm.
is. These are things we can do. Remember, that's money has to be obligated.
Will, you said it has to be spent by June. Will it be spent by June on Louisville Lane?
Yes.
It'll be spent for this fall.
By this point?
So it could.
Except we may have one, but we don't not required.
You wanna go to the next slide? You got
Yeah,
this in your
let's
brain?
Well, I mean, does this require,
Nothing yet. Well, we're gonna,
Yeah,
hey, we got,
there's nothing we can do right now.
here's what I would say on this is, take a mental note, if you have, something that you're opposed to or something else that's a priority for the board, we need to understand that, like Ricky Tick.
I think an upgrade to the website is almost necessary at this point, because they're trying to navigate that website does give people
Citizens.
looking at it the appearance of don't put stuff
We
up
don't.
there.
You can't read it, it's not easily accessible, it's not too quick.
And that just doesn't look good for the county.
It doesn't look
There's
good.
phone calls too.
The great thing about it is
Public perception.
your places like it'll save a lot of energy and time for us as well. And, all your ordinances will be on there, your resolutions will be on there, easily accessible. From your parks and rec, everything will be, mom can be not driving, riding through the county. She can get self-service. She can click on there, fill a fillable form, sign it up, pay her fee right there, and she's done, and it goes right to Keith and they got the information. Those are really nice things to have.
I mean, it may be possible that all your recommended things is okay, but Mary, were you saying that being in the field, that
I mean, I'm looking at
the animal
the,
control truck is an important thing?
not necessarily, no, not necessarily animal control. I'm just thinking the baler, the roof, public works, like, what's the point in getting a new baler if the roof leaks?
Well, look,
Yeah.
here's the problem with the baler for me. I mean, the baler's, expensive, right? 45, Mitch got one for 3,500, right?
It's honestly less than I thought.
Let me give you some, refuge numbers.
It's less than I thought it would be.
Yeah,
What's the better mainly used for? Recycle,
And we're losing money on recycling.
$250,000 a year. in recycling.
Exactly.
I mean, recycle's makes us feel good. I appreciate recycling, but we don't, it's not like we're making money.
I thought I was told, we were told out there that was saving us about $100,000 a year, the
Tipping
the cardboard and tipping fees, and then we sell, it was about half and half.
I don't know if they got that exactly right.
Okay.
so, yeah, we gotta make sure we're operating on the right information, cause
Yeah,
I thought,
like that information.
I thought the baler was one of those things that was cost effective because we were saving money on the weight.
I think it's that we can compact the trash so we don't have to make as many trips over to the landfill.
That's helpful.
Well, that's one.
And so that's a savings in terms
So
of,
even though we're losing money on recycling, we'd
It
be
could be
losing
more.
more money
Yeah.
if
right.
we didn't bail it.
Fuel costs, tipping fees.
Mhm.
So I think the
That's
baler is
basically what
probably.
Jonathan said.
It's a good thing to have. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
something we should have. It's just,
Getting a big fire pit's not a good idea, I don't.
well, fair enough. Okay, we'll head on to the next one. Nikki, you got this?
Sure, okay, here are our CIP requests that we received this year. Parks and Rec, the very first item on that list has an asterisk beside it because we have to do that one because it's the 5th year of a lease payment on the lights out at the rec park. So that one is a must do. It's not optional. All the ones after that are optional, and what the requests are basically a new playground, like new playground equipment at the picnic shelter, and potentially an outdoor volleyball court up in that area where the concert was this past year. Bleachers for field 1 and 2, because they don't have any bleachers right there right now. $10,000 worth of maintenance for the tennis court. We need another roll-off truck for refuse and a recycling building to replace one of the buildings that we currently have.
Okay, just level set, CIP 25. This is next fiscal year. Okay, these are not in the budget at this point. These are not things we put in the budget. Did you count for the 50 in the budget yet?
Yes.
Okay, so the 50's in there. These other items are not. These are things that, so we go out to the directors and say, what are your projects that you have that are coming up that you would like to
They
do?
would like to do.
That you would like to do. These are not in the budget. If you would like to do these things, any of these things, we gotta add them to the budget. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody?
Could you back up just 1 second?
Yeah, sure. Any questions on that?
I do have a question.
Okay.
50,000 for the park. Is this our final payment?
Final payment,
Okay, so then we're on the lights.
yes.
That was a 5-year deal.
Anything else?
Okay,
This slide sort of, last meeting, we wanted a reminder of some slides that were previously in the presentation. So we've included a couple of the previous presentation slides, just as a reminder. The financial forecast calls for a 13-cent increase in 2026. The last substantial increase was in 2020 and was 7 cents. And currently, to balance the budget, the rate would need to be increased by 4.17 cents. Where do we stand in the general fund? Currently, our revenue is projected at $28,944,588, with expenses of $29,737,829, for a difference of $793,241. We still have some work to do in terms of getting this budget balance.
everybody got those numbers, 793, 241. It's kind of where we're at.
Okay, here's
Can
the,
you go back one?
yep,
Sorry.
I'll be happy to set this up.
Thanks.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think we just want to, again, from a regional comparison of taxes, where we're at from a levy standpoint. We are still, on real estate and partial property, the only county that is lower than we are right now is with. They're a $160 million operation. They've got a lot of revenue coming in, so they keep their taxes super. But comparatively, if you know what happened in Galax, they still reassessment. So they're proposing to drop it down to 92, but that still keeps roughly 2/3 of the revenue. Level set for them was 72 or 74 cents, I think it was in the ad in the paper. But I think their proposal is 92 cents. Carroll's at 64, we're at 54, Bland's at 60, and Floyd's at 65. Okay. Me or you?
I can do this.
Okay.
Okay, at the last meeting, oh, I thought you were there.
Oh, you want?
Yeah.
I don't care.
The last meeting, you all have requested some information from me, so I decided to put it in the presentation. It's basically a comparison of the historical school data on the transfers and the school budget in and of itself. So you have everything from fiscal year 2022 to 2025. 2022, you can see the numbers, the total school budget was 26 million, about 26.5 million. Request this year is 29.2. Your total RLE has increased from 5.3 million to 6.5. The number that is significantly increased is the total above RLE. In 2022, it was 356,000.
That's not correct. Well, I may have been behind one. In 2022, we were doing 23 budget, and we're doing 25 now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay.
But I still don't think that's right. Like 1.8
In what year?
in 22. I'm pretty sure that was our negotiating number when we were negotiating, was to take it from.
It was a 3-year agreement, and we're in the 3rd year of the agreement.
Right, so we did 23, 24, 25, but the year before was 1.8.
Not according to the records that I have.
Well, according to what we were negotiating off of it was.
We can go back and look at it just to make sure
Yeah.
that we're right. That's a big swing if that's the case.
So the whole idea of us getting together is we can't continue to fund it at 1.8. And so we decided to fund it at 1.1 and took 700 and whatever it was away, and 350 something thousand, we went back to the historical number. So we certainly didn't do the agreement to raise the funding. We were trying our best to get back, and we're saving the county $700 and some thousand just because of the agreement.
The above RLE in 22 was 1.8.
That's correct. That was the number we were working off of. It's not reflected in this slide, but that's.
Remember that was told.
From, do we know where that number came from?
Lisa.
Okay,
We'll go back and look at it, make sure.
we'll go back and look at it, but it's not showing on our record.
I mean, I don't know that the county's never given above RLE. And you see in the 22, they gave 0.
No,
That's the CIP.
that's CIP.
Okay.
The third line is above RLE.
For the CIP, yeah.
Historically, it ran 350, 350 until the school got in trouble
Was it
when you
22?
were on the school board then, I think, and the county bailed it out.
No, I wasn't on school board then, I'm on for the.
After, whatever, you're aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
And then the county started spending 1.2, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8.
So I'm confused about, I was under the impression last meeting that it changed this year that we were having to pay $850,000 more to meet RLE. Was anybody else under that impression?
Yeah, I was, because, yeah, there was supposed to be a recalculation of the.
Mm-hmm, of the composite index.
850,000 more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that.
To meet RLE.
110.
That's what I was thinking.
And the reason that we don't know that figure right now for sure, because the state still hadn't approved it.
That's right.
And if they don't, it reverts back to last year's, I guess. That's the way I understood it. If they don't come to an agreement, right?
Okay, we'll go back and look at this slide. Mhm. Yeah, okay, also the debt service has gone from 1.3 million to 1.2, so we have a trend in the debt service going down. But the county allocation to the school is continuing to rise. From 7 million, apparently maybe not 7 million, maybe, we can go back and look at that. Like I said, it's not showing our records, and that's it's something big that would be missing on our records.
Well, we can't go back to this one. One second. I just want to point out, the FY25 request for the school was 29.2. Remember what our total request for the county is, right? 29.7. So it's not, the school budget is almost in line with the county budget.
Right.
The other thing I just want, we put in here, now we put this in here based on our last conversation. Remember this number is what the school has requested for the welding bays. So it's another $125,000 for the welding bays. This number is supposed to be 25. This was 7, whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
So if
784.
7, right? So if we don't do, you gotta make a decision on which one of the welding bays. If you wanna hold on the welding bays until you have further information, then this number reverts.
Whatever you get, bids or quotes.
I think there's 2 other partners, remember all that is looking for funding from the EDA and Gcbos.
And my understanding is they currently have 8 welding bays, 1 to 12, and they were like 12,000 a piece to remodel, update. They're outdated. So
We're gonna remodel all of them in 12,000 and add 4.
that's what my conversation with Kelly was, and because I'm thinking, why are we increasing to 12?
Well, that math's 144,000, not 450.
Well, he said 120.
Would be up.
150.
He asked for 100 or 150 from the EDA.
I think it's probably 150.
And how much per month?
I thought it was a $300,000 project. So this was money coming from your above RLE CIP. So that's 125. I think he might ask for 100 from the EDA.
He did.
And then maybe 75 from
I'd just like to see this.
The other thing I'm thinking is, I know the EDA is not the board of supervisors, but that's the county tax dollars. And to me, that's above RLE. That's not required if they choose to grant that.
If they give them something, I mean, that's a county. I agree. But I'd really like to see the estimate.
I think we've said that.
We asked for
Two or
that
three
last
times.
meeting.
Well, and I'm curious too, because if we say, for example, we're giving support and giving money for 12, and it turns out, well, we actually only get 8 because of what, ran out of time or what, you know what I'm saying? Where does that excess go? That's why it's important to see. We need to see figures, estimates.
what I'm hearing from you is that before any of this money comes out of the CIP, you want to see agreement, facts, figures, contract.
And
Bids.
I think it's important that, yeah, if they took bids, but we need to see the school's maintenance plan. What is their projected maintenance plan or capital improvements plan over a period of time? Not just, when the roof leaks, you get a call and now we're, scrambling around.
What's that mean, Nikki?
Do we have one already?
No, but in my experience, typically that's something for the school board to manage.
Right.
That's what their elected to do, and it's,
Well,
I know we're funding it, and
we're not creating their thing. We're just asking, do you have a
to
plan?
see it.
If you're gonna ask us for $450,000, what's the plan for that? Because if you need 12 welding bays and you only fix 8, there's an excess that who knows where that might be. I think it's reasonable for our staff to ask, do you have a maintenance plan?
Sure.
I mean, I'm not saying we create one.
Yeah.
So, Ed, just as a reminder too on this, I know you had some discussion on this last night. Discussion was there's a verbal agreement that's in place before, this is where that verbal agreement. Right here, this is the bottom part of it.
Yeah, but the verbal agreement also said that you can't touch that money for 3 years.
This part right here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what's up with the 600, 375?
So that was a
That
request.
was above RLE?
This would be 25 money, that's 3 years. And the discussion is, at what point in 25, is there a point in 25 they could request that money, or it had to go to all the way into 25 before they could request that?
So if I understand it correctly, if we approve $450,000 for the Cape Center, then the above RLE CIP, that number would drop by 450 and it'll only be 207.
Negative. This number that's above RLE facility was already at 325 that you all agreed to. They asked for 125 out of this above RLE CIP for the welding bays. So this number dropped to $125,000
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
based on what you had agreed to for the 3 years. If you say no to that, 125 will go back. This money is still your decision on what projects get funded from a CIP perspective. Or we have a discussion about what we can actually budget this year. We can't budget 780, we can only budget 250 this year. And that money you still have these two funds, and maybe 250 set aside for the school. And year to year, we just set out some. There's options. Does that make sense?
And part of the
Because I don't know that you don't, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, some of the factoring in here is that gentleman's agreement that took place. But I think too, we were asking a couple of meetings ago about, did they fix the roof? Because the deal, they had this agreement that needed money for the football field, and it was a repair the roof, not fixed. I mean, that was $600 and some thousand for the Cape Center roof repair, and there's still repairs needed, I'm thinking. I mean, do we have those answers that we?
I think that instead of me trying to provide these answers, because it's just been so much history. And
Right.
like, I know they fixed the main corridor was what I understood, and they used other money, maybe in Freeze or somewhere else. I don't know. I wasn't here during those times, so it's hard for me to go.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to target those conversations. It might be best for us to have Kelly and staff go here and you guys have a discussion on how you want to do that. I can try to get into each little detail of this, if that's what you want, or we can go the other route, however you want to do it. It's, for me,
Is that number locked in the budget yet?
these numbers are.
They are
They
locked
are
in.
locked in.
So
Because
that
the last,
450 cannot be, I thought you said.
We can
I
change
can
it, but
move
it's
it.
in the
Okay.
budget.
But it's
Right.
included in the calculation.
they're in there. Now, the last conversation we had was, we wanted to try to keep this agreement with the school. That was what I heard. So we left those numbers in.
I mean, I have some other questions too. Like, I want to know who's going to teach it. Is there that much demand for an increase in I'm not trying to be,
Sure.
not trying to nix it. I
Sure.
just have questions.
Sure.
I know I'm asking.
Well, the school budget's going up, everything goes up, but the enrollment's going down. We're building more welding bays. We don't have half the kids, or I'm not gonna say half. We don't have as many kids as we used to. We've had 8 welding bays for probably since my dad was in school there. And
I would say that
why do we need 12 is what I'm getting at.
Like, they may need repair, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know they need repair.
They
but-
definitely need
But
updates,
do we
there's no
need
question.
more?
But
I
yeah,
think they're busing a lot of kids in from Gay West for the technical
Oh, really?
programs.
I didn't know that's my.
Galax does their
Is
welding
Galax gonna
program
help
at,
pay for
Gilford.
it?
You know, it's those are loan program across.
They were, when I was, on, at the PD.
You'll go right to help us out on the
See,
water.
we just don't know,
Yeah, there you go.
which this is not our kind of, you know, maybe we should be.
From the last budget meeting I was under the impression that we were getting 800,000. The schools versus 2 years ago, they were getting 800,000 more. So I guess I was thinking from 22. Was that whenever that came into?
Were you thinking from here to, or from here to here? Is that?
Yeah, it was.
This is this year's calculations that they were going
That's-
off, that their required effort was greater than what it had been.
Yeah, that's
This is what
that's
we
why I
were-
live. Because I was under the impression the school system's getting $2 million in essence more than, you know, because they're getting the 1.1 above RLE, and then the RLE increased 800.
Well, the increase from
Maybe I was
20
wrong.
I mean, you've got an RLE increase from 22 to 25 of $1 million. Is that what you're talking about?
Maybe it was, but
And I swear that's not right.
Yeah.
I'm not faulting, I'm not saying,
yeah,
I'm
no.
not saying you got this wrong, but I know for a fact it was $1.8 million, the total above RLE in 22.
We'll go back and try to get
I
some.
think it's safe to say we've got some questionable information
So-
in the past.
Even if it was 1.8, let's just say it was 1.8. Okay, which would obviously change these numbers some, right? But it'd be interesting that if they had 1.8, so that would have put their
It would
budget
put 'em
at
right where-
8.5.
Yep.
See if I can find the number.
It's easy for me to verify.
What's that?
I said it's easier for me to verify.
We have, from a data analytics standpoint, and from a data entry standpoint, we have been horrendous. Like Nikki and I were talking about ARPA for
Oh, gosh. Well,
for months.
3 months.
Months, because I kept saying, where do we have it all? And it's been really tricky. I thought it would be something very simple to look at, so we could talk through. And I think she spent days trying to track down ARPA.
For 3 days.
I just remember. There was that's when the school board and the board of supervisors were fighting so bad, because in 21 is when all the ARPA money came in.
All the CARES money, COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not for,
Ours
and
was
so
second round.
they
Yeah.
did not do above RLE in that last year. So we were going off of 21.
Oh, okay, so 22 is.
Yeah,
Alright.
because when they became flush with that $7 or $8 million that the school system got, the board supervisor said, well, you just got $7 million, why in the world are we gonna give you any more money? And that's what caused the first.
That was a different fight. You're talking about.
That was our first meeting with school board,
Yeah, the
when they
fight.
said you stole our $1 million. That-
And to be honest with you though, that agreement, you know, we got $3 million in ARPA money.
They, right,
But we then turned around
Turn and gave them.
granted them $3 million.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right, so we didn't gain any foothold from our ARPA money
And
in some respects.
I wasn't present in that rally, but I would say you guys probably didn't realize that they were gonna be getting $1 million more for RLE.
I don't.
we did know that.
You did
It
know
was,
that,
go
okay.
back to FY 21, and that's where the numbers that's where the numbers 1.8 million. And that's where we looked at it and said, we've got to stop doing this. Y'all can be mad about last year, but
Yeah,
we've got to do this. We're gonna do it for 3 years, and then we're going back to 356. Because that's historically before the school system got in trouble. That's what the county did every year, was
so in
350.
fiscal year 26, we're going to 356.
That was our agreement.
Okay.
I would, as you're thinking about decisions on levies, water, trash, you do need to think about, there's gonna be an ARPA hangover or a COVID hangover coming, not just for a county, it'll be coming from the country as well. And so as this money gets executed, projects projects are going, the economy's doing fine, but it's gonna start getting skinny. We'll have to figure out, we don't want to be able to go, ARPA money can fund the vehicles like we've done in the past, or ARPA money to fund projects, it just won't be there. So unless there's a thought about how to build some type of county CIP in the future, not happening, it's just not happening. Okay? Is that fair for everybody to think through? Yep, okay. Okay,
Does everybody feel really warm and fuzzy about our recommendations basis tonight?
so these are, for me, from a recommendation standpoint, when you go around the board, there's just different thoughts that are going on all the time. So there's thoughts on levy increase, there's thoughts on labor cuts, there's thoughts on however you want to tackle this, they're all over the board. So we try to capture these so we can discuss it. That's kind of how we think about it. Is that fair? Okay. Recommendations. We did talk about a levy increase this year. Remember, there's a 13% projection. We are the lowest levy in surrounding counties right now. So if we did a levy increase of 2% this year, that equates roughly to $380,000. Okay, that puts us at 56 cents. Go ahead. Increase the trash fee by $24 per year. That'll give us $180,000. If you remember in the trash fees, we're basically a break even. We're losing about 10 to 15, maybe $20,000 a year. We did another deep dive into trash. One of the things, when I first talked to Looper, he gave us a number of about $250,000 loss.
Mm-hmm.
Once Mitch and Looper got with the treasurer's office, there's about $350,000 in commercial business that they're doing per year that Nikki doesn't have and they have not equated for. So the reason we would say a trash fee probably needs to increase is a couple of things. One, almost all the trucks that we're buying now to maintain equipment come down ARPA. So if you include those trucks in there, we're still losing money, $150,000 a year. The other factor I would say in there, and Tracy knows, Mitch knows, there's a tipping fee increase coming from solid waste. It's either this year or next year. So if you don't think so this year,
No, we just had, in our meeting, our last meeting, they said possibly 27,
whoa,
possibly. Isn't that what they said? When we were talking about the new sale?
26 or 27.
Yeah,
so
so it's a little further down the road, I think.
I hope so. I hope you're right. Either way, that's an $8 million bill that the county will have to, the counties and the city will have to absorb. Tipping fees for $50,000. We pay tipping fees every year, $50,000. No, I'm sorry. That was not. I can't.
No.
I can't. Right. I'm sorry.
Like 350.
So if we decide to increase the trash fee now by $2 a month, that's $24 a year. That's $180,000. That's a decision for you. There's one other thing on the trash I was thinking about. What you need to think about?
Roll off.
Roll-offs.
That's the next.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, my way.
And raise roll-off dumpster, which is by $15, which is, it's not much. It gets us $6,000 a year. It's $6,000, and that level sets us with the other companies that we talked about.
Yeah.
You asked me the other day about what large item trash costs. It's costs about $50,000. It's about $50,000 to do large item. There's some recommendations for you. Okay.
And just a reminder,
Oh,
I don't
one
know
more
why
thing.
it's falling off
That's
the screen, but the presented budget includes that 35% rate increase in water.
We've already factored in a 35% increase in the water at this point, unless.
So it's a recommendation, but it's also incorporated.
We have to do something on water. Anything else?
I think that's it. Yeah.
So, discussion,
Where do you
feedback,
wanna go?
thoughts. Where do you want to go with this? Just remember the timelines we're talking about here.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, it felt like there was a consensus on the water rate increase as being okay. Is that correct?
I think we have to.
You have to, I mean, we can't keep on passing.
I wouldn't mind increasing it a little more.
I was looking to increase it more because we know Galax is gonna be going up on their rates. I'm not saying for us to break even, but I think we've got to be a little more. We're still losing $121,000.
How aggressive you wanna be?
We had some weight problems too. One thing we did was, put, the leveler on the tank, and Paul just told me right before this meeting, it looked like last month. I mean, 1 month's not an indicator, but it looked like that may have helped us at $10,000.
Can you go to that slide that covers,
Mitch, was that in a month? 10,000 a month.
10,000.
Excuse me, 10,000 for a 2-month period, because we paid you 2 months.
That's,
Say just 10,000 gallons or 10,000 dollars?
No, I said $10,000, and he said, last month's bill, 2-month period was 10,000 less. So, and then there's some other things that we're talking about doing too, and changing, looking at another master meter that could be.
so if that fixed it, that'd be $60,000 change in
If it
annual
stayed the
revenue.
same as this 2-month period.
That's $60,000 and you're going up.
And then there's some other things, a master meter that he needs, another master meter that we need to look at, and we need to get it calibrated.
I wouldn't hang your hat on that.
No, I wouldn't either at this point.
how do you feel about,
That's one bill's information, that
What-
could be.
You got the water revenue and the water expenses up there, but we don't have the overall expenses of what the,
But they are,
yeah, well, I mean, what's the entire, is the entire budget 456?
yes, that's the entire budget.
So that's not just water purchase.
Oh,
That's
no.
Water, that's got everything.
It's salaries,
Okay.
rentals
Good.
on
Gotcha.
those salaries, equipment, professional services.
Everything's included.
So like we do a
Water
rate,
expense.
we do a rate analysis, that's 5,000, I think factored in there also as part of the Mobile Lane project too, is it? Or not? Did he stick the engineering professional services in
It's
there?
where you coded it to, but I have
Oh,
to,
you
it's an ARPA, which
We had
is
to
one
move
of the
it on, that's
reasons
right.
why ARPA
That's
is
right, I'm
so
sorry.
difficult.
So we code things in wrong, but that's what's tracking down everything. Every receipt now to the store.
So that does not include the 65, 70, whatever.
how do you feel about Galax helping us out on the rate? Do you think it's a 50-50 or
I can't,
can't say?
listen,
Just don't know.
I can't understand the reason why I don't understand why this hasn't been solved at this point. We're gonna have to come to some agreement here. Problem is, I just don't have a lever over them. It's not like I have some, still work with
Right.
it. And he's busy doing budgeting and, other things. I'm making another meeting set up next week to talk about it again, to help try to understand why we're not going to a flat rate.
What's the current rate?
650 monthly?
Yeah.
26.
26 a month.
$52 they pay by.
So that's $52 every other month. So that's 300. $8
A year.
a year.
And it's going up to 35 with the 35% increase?
Yep.
Is that right? So 70, $420 a year, that's what it's going up to as of now.
I just kind of feel like we need to be a little more aggressive than. For me, it's kind of like the levy. We see it coming. We know it's going to happen. Instead of, maybe we don't have to do it this year. We've eventually got to raise the rates to the point where it's the user paying for it. Same thing with trash, same thing. The water, I mean, there's only a few services that this county offers that it returns any revenue from. And those to me are the ones that we need to be making sure the users are paying.
Water's voluntary, it's not mandated tax.
Well, there's some places out there on Louisville Lane,
That's the whole reason
they
we're not on
cannot,
Louisville Lane.
they can't dig.
They have no
Yeah,
water.
But for the
Knuckles
most part,
Curve Road too, I mean, that water's pretty.
Yeah.
That's got that iron.
And the thing is, I mean, I don't know the actual data, like to date on this, but just word of mouth and speaking with realtors and people in construction, the Baywood, Fairview, Old Town area is growing. Like people are interested in it, moving into it, and that really concerns me further down the road. You know, the demand for water in areas of the district that don't have it. I don't even know, you know, an estimate what it would be for a system, you know, for that. That's what I'm not saying we need to think about it right now, but I think it's gonna happen where the county, I mean, how long can we actually go buying water for that district from Galax for those that have it versus biting the bullet and getting the system there like we have in the other places.
I mean, if they're getting a $16 million grant to improve their water
That's
system,
exactly what I was thinking.
is there any grant?
So I didn't say that. I didn't say it gets $16
You said they have a $60 million plan,
million.
but do you have any idea what kind of grant money there is for that?
No.
'Cause I mean, that's,
Go ahead, you said let's get ahead of these projects. Like right now, I feel like we're behind.
we're way behind.
Can we start looking into a grant that would allow us to put a tower in a 12-inch well or whatever it takes?
I feel like we're gonna be forced into that eventually anyway. I mean, you all have looked into this more than we have, but
I have not.
you haven't, well, Mitch.
I'm not really listening. I mean, this is just.
The board, several years ago, when the water increase came in, the board at that time asked staff to get some people come in, and drilling wells for the county. And that was looked at that time. And the board, they came and gave the board a presentation, not a PSA at that time, and talked to the board about drilling wells. And at that time, that spurred Galax to negotiate. And we came up with a rate at that time that satisfied the board enough to not pursue that endeavor.
Well, we don't have any options right now. Our only option is to go up on the users. If we had our own well system. I don't know if USDA rural development would have a grant or to help us put in our own.
I don't want to forget about this, because it's gonna sneak up on us again. Like, I really think this, our own system down there eventually will pay off.
The town has 3 towers of their own, don't they?
I think you're right.
I'm just.
Well,
could
we
be
already
two.
own two water tanks at Hillcrest and Meadow Creek.
Oh, really?
We own those.
Those are ours.
They got water in
We
them.
maintain, yeah, that's reserve.
Why we use it?
No,
Well, that's pumped water.
it's pumped water from Galax.
Storage water.
They're 27 foot of water.
We're
main.
getting it from
It's a
Galax.
reservoir.
Oh, we're paying for the water.
Oh, yeah, it's Galax water going into our tanks. If our
So the tanks are there, we
If
just.
the system
we got a
went
system.
down, we'd be good for 2-3 days, of reserve water.
I know a town down there, my area that needs a good water. They could pump you a little bit across the river for you to get a good price.
And our lines are ours too. We maintain the lines in the county.
Well, I think we have to look into it.
I think it's $550,000 for Louisville Lane. I'm just like, why are we not big picturing this?
Be self-sustaining.
Yeah,
I mean, we got the river, pump the water out of the river into the tanks, filter it out.
no,
That's what they do.
Yeah,
We already do.
Yeah,
that's what our.
it's still doing the right places. And generate electricity off of the
But,
land.
I will.
Can we look into an independent system? I don't know who, Berkeley Group or whoever looks into that.
There's certainly,
Those lines that we have in the ground were put in 1990, so they are getting some age on.
Well, that's.
But they
another-
are currently also in use. The
Gentlemen,
lines
you
you're talking
approached me
about,
about projects and freeze.
It comes through the master meter.
The
the
grant
daylight.
possibilities were pretty
That's
good.
why he's saying, watch it when you get volume pricing, because every gallon comes through that meter. That's what we pay gateway.
All right, let's talk about this as a board. So looking at the 35% increase on the water and gay lights. Let's have some discussion on that kind of one by one. What do you?
Well, with what Mitch said, we've got to take that into consideration also. The lines are now 25 years old. No, 35 years old.
35, almost.
That's going to require maintenance. And we're losing money, not considering probably an increase in maintenance. I think we've got to be more aggressive with the rates. We're losing 120,000 right now.
I mean, I would agree, like 35 is a minimum, and trust your all's recommendations if you think that's appropriate, but I would also negotiate a little bit higher. But if that's your recommendation, that's what I would go with.
We're just gonna keep kicking this can down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, much as it pains me to even think about it. You know, we're passing it along to everybody else. And that's not fair.
I agree with you guys. I think we gotta be a little more aggressive. And then, like Mary said, we need to start now looking at the big picture. But in the immediate, we probably need to look at something that's stronger than 100%. Yeah.
Just as a reminder, we've been working this issue for a little while.
Mhm.
These are recommendations that, based on not trying to affect the customers too heavy.
Right.
On what the discussion was before. We concur. Even if we go up to 50%, we're only probably talking about another maybe 20 grand. At most, which you 450. We do, for us to.
Yeah, you know, you're right.
Right, it's not a huge number,
Yeah.
but we can knock off another 20 unless you want to take out the whole bottle of wax. Then give you a rate, that's what it costs you.
Mr. Chairman, can I? I was thinking, what if you went, somebody said a greater than 35% rate increase this year, and that gives us time to do this calibrations on this meter or two, and see what that does for us, and see if this 10,000 in 2 months is factual. Is that going to continue, or was that, something something that happened? And then the other thing, I know when these talks, it's bringing back memories, when these talks happen like this, that this PSA, this board, whatever said before, that, hey, let's look in our own independent system. Galax did not want to lose us as a customer. They lost 750,000 gallons when our plant in Haynes shut down. 750,000 gallons a day went through there. They don't want to lose another 110,000 gallons.
I understand that.
Just in the fire.
I understand that. I understand they don't want to lose us as a customer, but also understand that what they're charging us is costing the rest of our citizens,
So
not just a nominal tax increase, but
absolutely.
But
would that cause them to go back? And if we go to 550,
well, if we start doing this for the reasons of supporting Galax city limits or Galax town, we're doing it for the wrong reasons. I think what Supervisor Thomason is saying is these prices aren't ever going to go down. We might as well be a self-sustaining system. And what does that look like?
and I like it, but
What does that cost?
But you're saying that
I
if
was
we,
turning that'd be good for Grayson County
negotiate.
citizens if we go back and Galax says, hey, we're willing to talk at 550 instead of 650, 750.
Well, it's a shame that they would wait to do that until we decided to put our own system in there. So
It happened.
that's why I'm saying.
It happened one time.
I could see that.
I mean, I could see that.
Well, what I'm thinking is we could have some cost savings for next year. But I'm thinking maybe reeling on up push it on up to 50, you're thinking we could then just reevaluate next year, see how this meter and all this work we're doing, see how much that's gonna save us. Just my thoughts, I don't know.
When you say 50, you mean 50% or do you?
50%.
All right, on that one, I think we've got a consensus of the board that we want to be a little more aggressive on the rate hikes for the water.
Again,
Without pigeonholing you on what
All
it
right,
is.
we'll get it right, we'll come out, but again, we're not talking about big numbers here.
Right, it's not, yeah.
We're stable.
Gonna be at this.
Yeah, we're still probably out, let's go 50%. If we went from, let's see, we were, let's say 2635, say we go to 40, that's 440. 440 plus $2,200. $5,000. So what
And that's
I'm
just going up to 40.
That's going up from 26 to 35 to 40 bucks.
So what is it if you go up 50? About 50%.
That is 50%.
Oh,
50%, 26, half of 2613, right? 2636, I said $40, that's 50%. Yeah, 50% off. It's well over 50%.
well, that's $25,000 that the rest of the county's not having to pay.
And hopefully these other savings will help us out, hopefully we'll be able to.
Hey, that's right.
I'm not saying it's right, but hopefully it is.
It'd be fantastic. if that's
And
right.
hopefully,
Hope so.
hopefully whenever we tell Galax that we're looking into doing our own thing, maybe
Well,
they'll.
and it's not just for negotiating.
No,
In my
no,
opinion,
we're-
it's not just
I
negotiation.
think
We
we
need to
look-
look into it.
I agree with you
Gary,
to look into it, but at the same time, maybe they'll sweeten the pot
Yeah.
and we'll.
Yeah.
decide it's a
You gotta
big
have
deal.
some bite.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, they would
that's
have
right.
to sweeten it a lot better for us to back off of doing our own
least
system.
maybe we can get
once
it done
we
in
get
that
it figured
That'll
out.
give us a little bit of leverage.
Just as a reminder,
You said you needed leverage.
we take on a project.
I know. Well, that's where that grant funding comes in, Nikki.
Yeah. It's never 100% grant funding.
I know.
Never 100% grant funding.
To open up a water operation is a big deal.
It is a-
You're going through drinking water, Appleton, you're going through, DEQ.
Oh, they're talking about it.
We're losing $120,000 a year. 5 years, that comes pretty close to making
That's
that
a good
down
point.
payment on getting
That's
us
a good point.
our own water system.
Yeah.
I think we've got the consensus on the board on the water. Next thing is the trash. So the recommendation to raise $2 a month for all.
That'd be our recommendation. I would say our recommendation based on the amount of equipment we buy, and if you want to maintain the services that you currently have. If you want to change the services that you currently have, as long as I don't pick up, there's $50,000. If you want to shut down the convenience center, there's another $50,000. We can save $100,000 right there. You know, I don't know that there's other, Tracy said, I think he's right on, he's on that board, so he knows, I think I missed the last board meeting. So if it's not going, so I don't really have to worry about tipping.
Not this coming year.
I think that other localities, you know, they don't have this service. We provide a service in the rest. I said this last time. The other counties with Smith, you have convenience stations. You can bring your own trash there. There is no Carroll. There is no large item pickup. They're still higher than us. I know Independence got a bid. It's higher than us at this point in time. That didn't include large items. That didn't include a convenience station. So we're at a pretty low rate from the trash perspective.
Supervisor, that.
I don't think we should cut big trash pickup. I think it's worth the $50,000 for our county as a whole, being more clean and for the citizens. The one thing I wanna look at is if we go up this year and the tipping fees go up, next year, will we have to increase it?
That was a thought, is that would get us in front of the tipping fees. The idea is not to try to incrementally pass that along, it's to go up now. If it's not till 26, I still think.
I swear I thought they said.
It makes me sad to say it.
And it wasn't a guarantee at that.
Yeah, what,
Because they're very efficient over there.
yeah, what they are, I agree with you.
It's a good operation. Well, I think my biggest concern is on trash is equipment. We don't buy the equipment. I mean, this truck we just bought, it's got 150, 200,000 miles on it. Now, they think they can make it last 10 years. But that's the kind, that's the type of equipment they buy. One thing goes down, this year, I didn't know if we could do large item pickup.
Right.
Jonathan told me this, hey man, it's pretty close. Oh, I got the trucks to do it. If there's, we've got maybe 5 employees over there who are, they're getting close to retirement.
Mhm.
It's hard to find drivers over there, so,
Did they have a plan as far as replenishing vehicles, like, just as needed?
Yeah, no, John
Well, they come up-
submitted a CIP plan for his trucks, that's how
you're
we
asking
came up
for
with it.
I think what you're asking for is more of a greater grade. Is that what you're asking for? Like,
Well,
at what time is
like
this?
next year, we're gonna need another truck, in 2 years, we're gonna need another truck.
Like the sheriff's department
That
does
kind of
with
thing.
vehicles?
I think, the sheriff's
We
department,
have a 5-year plan for Jonathan.
Okay.
Okay.
That was implemented a few years ago. We didn't have it, but we tried to get on the cycle.
So do we know next year they're gonna need a truck, or in 27 they're gonna need a
again,
truck?
the hard thing, one thing I find hard with them is, you don't know what's gonna break.
Right.
When they're like, this is done, it's got 350,000 miles on it.
Right.
Looking at the trucks, I would not be surprised, but I feel like Jonathan is as modest with spending as he can be. He has found some good deals.
I mean, they go and they fix everything.
Mhm.
They're moving that
Fix
bed.
everything themselves.
They're gonna move a bed. I think it would cost us $20,000 to move that bed. Maybe more.
If Jonathan wasn't willing to do it, he said, we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah,
I tried
yeah.
to convince them to
They're
do
more
it.
than
Yeah.
trash men. They're
Yeah.
good mechanics. They do.
Right, I know they service their own vehicles and stuff.
I mean, you got, Testament landing up there, constantly working.
So you can do it for $2. Is that
Just
something?
generally what I think.
Or no?
Supervisor Thomas?
I don't know if Mitchell was done.
Oh, sure.
So that would be $180,000 revenue.
That's right.
What I'm saying is I realize we're gonna have to go up when the tipping fees go up. I think I would personally just rather wait till the tipping fees go up. Pass that along then.
If tipping fees go up, I would say it'd be a different number.
It'll be, yeah.
You have to,
Go up $3 or $4.
no, I think that, I don't know that we'll have the ability to buy anything. Like, there's money in there now. I don't know if we'll have the ability to buy anything.
So this $2, once the tipping fee goes up, we're still gonna be in the same spot on buying trucks.
What's the total amount of tipping
Can we
fees?
take a break?
Yeah.
I need to.
Well, let's take a 5-minute recess.
What's the total amount of
Sorry.
tipping fees we pay? About 400%.
Good.
Steve. I'm gonna take 5 minutes, so I'm gonna cut this off on that. It's back to your point too, that it's, if we didn't go up at all, we're still bleeding 10-20,000. But if you count when ARPA money's gone, we're gonna bleed.
I said that.
With
That's what I said.
With the
back to your
trucks.
point. Back to your point.
You're right.
What I'm thinking is if the tipping fees are going up $350 or $400, if they only go up $180 now,
No.
next year we're gonna be
That's
doing.
what we pay.
That's what our total.
That's what we pay.
That's what our total payment.
Okay, so it's not.
So when it goes up $5,
That's same as 40,000.
$40,000 is what we pay.
I got you. I got you. So that would cover that.
And I was, that board, I think good feel if they want to do it not this year, next, or wait till the next thing. I didn't get a good feel for what the other 2 jurisdictions, if they wanted to do that or not. Long-term thinking, we'd probably be better off having our own water system, wells.
Another thing is square peg and round hole everywhere. Well, I wonder, what's the one on the time now? There's used to be ways to put your lights up on these cardboard. Yeah. See, I had some on the way, I had, we had farmers, and I had a truck, we had farmers on it. I got pulled over, like, what are you doing? That's hard. But they didn't, what's it called? You got a vegetable.
That's probably a good idea, not long term.
I mean, the more I look at it, at what point, I mean, I feel like we're gonna be forced into it. And then it's gonna be like, oh no.
Gay likes, not only water plant, they got, their whole lines are older than ours.
Mhm.
They gonna have a lot of infrastructure.
Next thing to think about is, next year, we're gonna be paying 800,000 less to the school.
Seven, 775, 796. 793.
I thought you said you'd go to 356 a year.
Yeah, but there's been an additional 770 that's been put in a CIP that was supposed to only last.
356 is above LRA, not just CIP.
356 has been the historical
Yeah.
of RLA.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's what we're paying to go back.
the 786 will come off after next year.
Right, which is 4 cents.
4 cents on the limit right there.
It's substantial. You're doing 190,
185. It's a little squishy. Yeah, that was kind of hard to track.
185.
There's a couple more waters in here.
Need more? Anybody say?
I'm good, thank you.
Linda on a camel.
Does this require, any of this require a motion for us to make? Not today, it's just.
We'll incorporate it into the budget figures and then have it ready.
Good. Remember, we
We have
got
what? 23rd? Yeah.
Some of those we pay.
That's not the number, it's just. This is 23.
Don't look like my heart copy emails.
Call the meeting back to order. Supervisor Cornett, are you done with trash conversation?
Hey, just one piece of information. Nick put this out for me just because I was trying to get my mind back around where the
Yes, it was. In 23, spent $193,000 motor vehicles and equipment outside.
This is just for the sanitation works department. 196,000 had to come out of general fund, it wasn't budgeted because vehicle breakdown.
For which year?
2023.
Supervisor Thomas?
I think, well, I agree with Mitchell on the large item pickup. Our residents really asked for that, really want it. It's 50,000. But the convenience center, was that not the, one of the main topics with Jonathan and the whole crew up there about kind of just their thoughts on that were that we didn't really.
It is not convenient for them.
Right.
It's a lot of work for them.
Mhm.
And there's some challenges with residents.
Mhm.
That causes them some headaches.
So that's an area we could save 50 grand. But
But I guess that was proposed at one point in time. And, you know, there's a lot of people showed up for that.
Just implement
What was that, man?
it, take them back. Right,
There we go.
that's it, right, Supervisor, that's exactly right, take them back in the month.
because they were so upset about it.
Well, some people around here in the Independence was, yeah.
That all you got?
Well, again, I'm just gonna say, you know, I'm new to all this, and if your all's recommendation or if the rest of the board feels like a $2 increase is what we need to do to make some headway here, or at least better than break even. Sounds like we're in for possibly some pretty big equipment, and we're already talking about the baler and the possible Peterbilt. But, I mean, I saw the trucks. And I think they're as modest as they can be with their spending, but it sure would be nice to have a little more cushion than we have now. Not saying there's any cushion. So,
Supervisor Ash?
I don't know of a more frugal, department head
agreed.
in the county than Jonathan. And I know that at the time we discussed the convenience, center out here, that was one of his recommendations was cutting it. And I mean, I didn't really at the time have that much kickback from my district, but I have talked to a few people and they say they don't really think it's fair. So I see how it benefits the town, and it is convenient. And, but I mean, to go to these outreaches, you know, White Top, Rugby, and all these other places, you know, it's not something that's convenient for them. And unless we want to rotate it around and have it in each district, you know, a month at a time or something like that, you know, that's one place I could see we could cut. Large item pickup, I mean, I do know that that's made a difference across this county. 84, when I started with the sheriff's office, we worked trash piles, we dug through getting names and all that stuff. I mean, they're still out there. And a lot of them come from Carroll County. If you're down around Galax, take you a little trip out Petty Road or somewhere like that, you'll get a lot of stuff from the trailer parks and stuff that are within the city, and trash from Carroll County. I don't think we ever need to do away with that large item pickup. I think it's a good thing, and it's made a big difference as far as the trash and stuff in the county. Great. Someone's got to pay the fiddler for one dance. If that's staff's recommendation, then I guess that's would be what I'd be for. That also.
This is all the eyes looking at me after. Well, as far as the convenience center goes, I have talked to other folks in the county, not just from the Independence area that use the convenience center. I know folks from the Wilson district come down. So it's widely used, not just in one area. And I think that a lot of times we're given figures on that, but I'm not sure is exactly accurate as the cost of what that's costing us. Because we got someone out there, probably minimal expense to have someone open it and close it for a half a day, 2 days a week. And that, I'll make the argument every time, that's trash that our guys are parked on the side of the road picking up, risking their lives because somebody else has took it out there. The other argument I know is, well, people abuse it. Of course, people abuse everything. And I don't know that we can ever eliminate all the abuses. And we talked about the sticker, possibly implementing a sticker where people could purchase it. But to talk about raising the rate, we're basically talking about raising taxes, because this is a tax in essence, because people are required to do this. It's not a voluntary opt-out program. So yeah, if you own a home and you have running water, whether you live there or not, whether you use the service or not, you have to pay for it.
There's
You got a habitable home, solid waste ordinance says you have to pay. If that home was vacant for 3 years, and that's to stop people from selling real estates and all that stuff, taking that out of the equation. But if they actually leave it vacant for 3 years, you can apply for an appeal to that. But if it's ever become livable or habitable, somebody moves there again, the fees are reinstated.
Whether anybody lives there or not, they have to pay the fee.
If they use it for overnight, and they put trash out to the road, and our guys see that, then it'll be reinstated.
Yeah, so it's not an option. In other words, if you don't want the service, you can't say, I'll live 14 whatever, I'll take my trash somewhere else, or I've got a different plan. Because folks do. And if they live there, they can't opt out of that. But even folks that don't always, there's not always a resident in the property, and they're still required. Because I know our guys have went out to see if there's meters running, or see if there's running water, or, I don't know, those types of things. I know those have happened. And people have been forced to pay the fee, and yet they have another property where they actually use the service and pay the fee. Are you following me on that?
Okay.
So
again,
that's what I'm saying.
3 years. If it's empty for 3 years, I just dealt with.
Well, that's 3 years they're required to pay
Yeah,
it.
they have to pay it for 3.
So it's not an option.
On the 3rd year, they can apply for
Even-
an appeal.
Even if the electricity and the water's on,
If what?
the electricity and the water's on,
Is off, you mean?
if it's on, you may have a house, you're just keeping the electricity on for farm
And
uses.
they say that no one has actually lived there. It's not for 3 years. And that can be looked into for taking the fee off. But we say on the appeal form that if this house becomes habitable at any point, the fee will be reinstated.
So it's still subjective of whoever goes out there and determines if somebody is living there or not living there, if it's running water or not. I'm just saying, it's not like it's a voluntary thing for the citizens.
No, it's not voluntary.
And you're saying after 3 years, they could apply for it to be.
Yes.
So that's why I view this more as a tax than a fee. So the long and the short of it is, I'm not in favor of closing the convenience center. I'm not in favor of raising the rate at this time. I think we can look somewhere. We're offsetting costs for other things all over the county. And if there's I know we always want to try to be fair. There's just no way to be totally fair to folks with the stuff we've inherited, whether it's the water, whether it's the trash. And I know that's always our goal, is trying to be fair, not just to our district, but to the entire county. But I'm not in favor of raising the rate. I think, there is still questionable where it gets, the tipping fee, where that may go in a year or two. So, not to say that at some point down the line, we may have to do that.
Okay,
I just think there's other areas.
there you go.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, I just think there's other areas.
Are you thinking of an area? I mean, I'm.
No.
No.
Not right off, I don't, I mean.
I mean, I agree. I think we all agree we don't wanna have to do
Yeah,
this,
if we
but unless
find
we can
other
find
areas.
something, you know, maybe let us know if you find anything.
I think,
Okay.
well, I
Hang
think
on,
we're
I'd like to
oh,
go.
sorry.
You go.
Oh, yeah, we need to get the second
Yeah.
vehicle.
We never let him talk, do we?
I'll do it.
First off, I think, I agree with most everything everybody says. I think that the service that the county provides is an incredible service. Somebody comes to your house once a week, picks up all the crap that you don't want to have to do. I don't see it as a tax. I think we're paying for a service, even though there's some outliers that may be paying 2 and 3 times for it. I see it as a service that's provided, a great service that is provided, and I'm in favor of raising the rate $2, $24 a year to keep this great service. However, on the convenience part of it, I'm not in favor of shutting it down, but I think we have a lot of out-of-towners that use that service that the county provides. I would like staff to look into, is there a way that if you're gonna use that service, you pay for a sticker that goes on, or a pass or something that goes on it? We can't have people from Sparta coming in here. I got a lot of calls from the folks from the west end of the county who do use that convenience service. How far west it goes, I can't remember, but I know we had some folks from Bonnie that would use that service. I'm not in favor of shutting it down, but I am in favor of what we've all talked about here, the water, the trash, is a fee for use. If you're gonna use it and it's a convenience that the county is providing, then we have to figure out how to generate some revenue off of that. If we can't figure out how to generate revenue, I think that takes us back to the argument of what do we do with the convenience center. But there's no way of knowing who's going in there without some type of proof that you paid to use it. I'm not saying it has to be high, it can be nominal, but at least it needs to be citizens of Grayson County who are paying for it. And on the large item pickup, I'm with everybody. It's a service that deeply improves the beauty of our county, and I think we need to keep the large item pickup. Mr. Cornett?
I didn't comment on the trash center. I think it's important to keep it open, but I agree with Brantley, Supervisor Ivy. We've got to figure, it's being abused. We've got to figure out a way for it not to be abused. With a sticker, however, I know it may be tough, it may be impossible, but we've got to figure out a way for it not to be abused and the people that do pay the bill.
Is there a way to set up a pay as you use? I mean, like, you've got regular trash pickup coming to your door each week. If you're gonna use this service, pay for the service at the gate, like a tipping fee or something like that.
That would put our guys in.
But the expense to do that would probably not offset the benefit.
We have to figure out how to,
Before,
go ahead.
when we sold the orange stickers in your treasurer's office, that's something we should probably work at, and maybe can we put it back in and be effective with it?
I mean,
But there's
Steve
nobody
did mention
manning
that.
the convenience pickup
Yeah.
on Saturday.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
There is. Wednesdays and Saturdays, there's somebody there that could say, hey,
Mhm.
did you buy, got the sticker?
That's what I was getting at. Put the sticker on your vehicle, hold it up.
Well, I had forgotten it, but Steve actually had made that recommendation when we first went out there. That he didn't understand why we didn't have something like that in place to kind of stop that abuse, but I honestly forgot about that, and I
We
think
had
it's
that
great.
for out of towners at one time, but we could just say, if you're gonna use convenience center, it takes a sticker to do it. Go to treasurer's office and get it, buy how many ever you want. And you can there is a 4-bag limit, so, yeah. But you can buy how many ever stickers you want to where when you take your 4 bags out there.
So if we sold the stickers at the same rate as what we're, like, they pay the yearly rate for the sticker, like the $218 now, $216, $218? For the
$260 a month.
I mean,
You're getting,
the year.
you're getting into a different thing now, because then they're gonna say, well, I don't pay it on the house and pay it here too. I think that's an extra convenience
Absolutely it is.
that you're coming and buying, and you still don't have a solid waste fee on your.
Yeah, I'm thinking a smaller fee.
Yeah.
I don't know what that number
For a
is.
sticker?
$20, yeah. You wanna use that, just because I don't see any other way to stop the abuse of the people are not paid.
I was thinking if we made an option where you could buy the sticker for $218, $216 for the yearly, it's a yearly sticker, each year change the color, whatever, and whoever's out there monitoring, if you got that, because we have a lot of folks that own property in the county but have out-of-state tags, So, but if they had that, or if they don't live here all the time, they just have rental property, but they want to use the trash service.
I think you just.
And that offset that $2.
I think you just add a layer of paperwork, because somebody's going to keep up with who has it on their real estate bill, and who's coming in here and buying it. And
I think to use the convenience, it's totally different. It's a totally different, what you're paying for your fee use every year is for somebody to come once a week and pick up the trash. If you wanna do it outside of that on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and you wanna haul it into town, you ought to have to pay for that.
That's the way it is at Carroll, right? If you take trash to Carroll,
yeah, if I take a load of trash, Carol, I'm going to pay $7 or $8 to get rid of it. Even though
That's just $7 for a single use.
Yeah.
Supervisor Cornett's talking about a $20 sticker that you could use.
If you've already paid your trash fee for the year, for your house, but that's already helping with the cost. But if you wanna use this additional service that costs us money.
Do we have a consensus on the board of that?
I'm not in favor of both raising the rate and adding that.
I'm not in favor of raising the rate and adding that, but I don't know how much that would, it would be, that's a tough thing to figure. I mean, at $20, it's not gonna, it's not gonna generate $100,000, I guarantee you that.
I think before they sold them $1 a sticker, if I remember correctly. That's what it was before. I mean, that's the right number, but
That went in cookies.
Well, as we specifically talk about the convenience center, let's either get a consensus or not on that. We either get rid of it, leave it alone, or put a fee to use it. Because we're not impacting the entire county, we're impacting the users of the convenience.
I think this could be looked at the same as the water situation,
I couldn't agree with you anymore.
because people from White Top and from Providence, they're not gonna drive here a lot of times just to do that. And they do have another option of trash pickup, and I think somewhere around, staff can figure out that number, but somewhere around $20.
and I'm not against the convenience center. I'm the efficiency or the ability to be self-sufficient
Agreed.
is what,
you're saying $20 for all the stickers you want. And then you can take 4 bags of.
Per sticker.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that
That's
number's
an
right.
arbitrary number. That
That's-
needs to be
I
determined
have
by
no
you
doubt.
guys.
That, I just pulled that out of there.
We know basically it costs about
To beat the convenience.
Speak up, Lord.
I'm sorry,
$50
we know it's
grand.
about $50,000 based on how much sticker fees cost, truck mileage, labor, that's about $45,000 to $50,000, what I think. $50,000. And so this is something, I don't know that we will recoup our money, I just don't have any data on this to give you an answer on this. What I would say is, if that's what we want staff to do, we'll go to Jonathan and say, Jonathan, give us a solution to the problem, so we can give it to the board, if that's.
I think we for sure have a consensus on that. Go talk to Jonathan and see what a pay for use would look like for that one convenience center.
The other thing is, I'm with Supervisor Anderson. I'm not sure that it costs $50,000, because I think we're gonna be picking up that trash somewhere else, paying that truck, that tipping fee and the fuel to Carroll County.
How are we gonna pick it up somewhere?
If they don't come bring it themselves, they're gonna put it at their driveway. They're just,
They already get that.
We get that option.
I know, but some people just on their way to work say, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it in here and steal it and pick it up. Or they forgot the trash this week. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that, but they have another option. and we're gonna pick up that trash. I mean, the trash is not just gonna go away or be thrown on the side of the road.
And the convenience thing too, if I may, is it is convenient, but a lot of folks, because of their work schedule, can't put their trash out. They pay the fee. They can't put their trash out. Bear or buzzards or whatever have it strewn all over. I see this on my road all the time. So folks inevitably sometimes will go and do that themselves to prevent more litter. I mean, it's just
I've seen the public works guys, go as far as replacing certain trash cans,
Yep.
blocks. When people have come and complained, remember that one we just had not long ago? Jonathan went out there and fixed, something for an old lady.
That was a dumpster.
It's a dumpster, yeah. So I've seen them they go above and beyond when those problems come up. So, I don't know if we can have a solution for every individual, so, but I don't know how to. Equipment, the things that we have that are older, this costs money. Running trucks, running equipment, fuel, it just costs money. Service, do you want it or not? I mean, it's good.
On the convenience center, we direct staff to look into another solution. What the options may be, so.
And we'll have to run some numbers just to come back and go, hey,
Right.
this is what we think based on. And Mitchell's point, my father one time missed the trash and he said, I had to go out there and it was great, they helped me.
And some people, in place of building a trash box, they just
Yeah.
follow it themselves.
Yeah.
But that's not what I'm getting at. I think the convenience, the sticker to use this is going to help abuse more than anything. People that don't pay the trash fee, that come in here and abuse the service and we'll cut it off.
And I think that was their main complaint.
That was their complaint to us. They didn't like it. That's their complaint with the trash center, and I think we need to address it.
I'm totally in favor of it. I mean, I'm not saying we have to shut the convenience center down. I had honestly forgotten the sticker recommendation that Steve had mentioned, kind of in
When we
passing.
put the trash fee in, there, to your point, Supervisor Ivy, there was a lot of out of towners that said, hey, we're not here on our trash day. We come up on the weekend.
Mhm.
Thank you for having that convenience center. When we leave, we can go by on Saturday, or if we know we're leaving on Sunday, we'll take our trash on Saturday out there and drop it. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of people that do it for convenience because they don't want to put their trash on the road. And there's a lot of abuse. And I wouldn't doubt if we're not getting some North Carolina trash also.
Well, they for sure are.
All right, I think we've got a consensus. Let's try to keep this meeting moving a little bit.
Well, just one thing I want to add on the convenience center, if they looked, if, just a suggestion, the Wednesday day might be one they want to tinker around with and say, we're just gonna have it on Saturday. I don't know if it'd be cheaper to add an hour or two on Saturday and do away with the Wednesday, because I know they got traffic. Wednesdays are a big problem because they got traffic flowing in and out, and that's where I think, get a little sideways, maybe, or something about it.
Fair enough. Good. Yeah, we're good.
Does anybody have any issues with raising the rates of roll-off dumpsters? Raising $15? Sounds like we're probably divided on raising the rates by $2 a month. We want to go over that again, or we just, I know Supervisor Cornett doesn't want to go up and charge for the convenience. To me, they're two different things. Supervisor Thomason is good with the recommendation. I'm good with the recommendation. Supervisor Ash is good with the recommendation, and you're opposed to raising the trash budget. So we don't have a consensus, but we have a majority of that recommendation.
Okay. So, 180.
Now, the levy increase is that the next thing you want us to take up, or you want us to talk about that list of animal control? Money's going.
I'd say let's go to ARPA first, and then we'll round it out with the fun stuff.
Okay.
Okay.
So So everything that's included on there is, it's $788,370 that is below there, right?
Yes,
With
but
88,
it's built with a contingency in.
which that simply means leaving it in the general fund in case any of those are higher than,
Yes,
okay.
exactly.
Little Wayne, the board has already approved to move forward on that. We did that by a vote last year. I don't know that we can reel that back in.
We're ready to go out all right, the right away, probably.
Yeah, I've been here that 2 years, I
No, I mean, y'all told us to move, so we are.
So upgrade the website. I think everybody in here had a positive. Anybody want to discuss that? Baylor for Public Works. Anybody got an issue with that? The animal control vehicle. I've got an issue with that. I'm not sure that we're getting the bang for our buck on that entire line item, whether it's the vehicle or the position itself.
Well, I'd just like to make a comment on that. All of our other county departments are driving around vehicles and making them wireless. Our public works is, Galax Grayson, EMS, they've got an ambulance for 300,000 miles. Sheriff's office wants to change out with 100,000 miles. I think we should be more careful with the way those guys should work on maintenance, be easier on those vehicles, make them last longer if we can. Everybody here, I don't think anybody, well, some people may trade their cars at 100,000, but I buy them at 100,000 or maybe 150.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the taxpayers see. But if somebody else knows more on that, Mike, I know you have history in the sheriff's office.
But the main thing that we always looked at was the reliability of pursuit vehicles and things like that. With the truck, I think you're looking at something different. I think what the sheriff's office has got, 3 different trucks
For ACO.
For
Period.
I mean, you could do a switch out. I mean, what you're talking about is a unit to go. I don't know if there's some kind of code standards that they're having to be concerned about now.
I think there's a code standard on pursuit vehicles.
No. Well, code standard maybe on the whatever equipment they're using to put these transport the animals in. I don't know if that's some kind of code standard that's come along is why they need a specific, but those inserts slide in and out of those beds.
They could slide on one of the F-150s.
Yeah. So if you was gonna cycle out, I think, a truck, your SRO truck could be cycled out.
SRO.
I mean, well,
ACO.
Different animals.
yeah, yeah. I've been here too long. Yeah, but if, you're your animal control officer, I mean, I don't think you're looking at, concerns about standards with pursuit vehicles and things like that. So, I mean, it looks like something you could switch out.
Yeah, I did not realize they had 3 trucks.
Well, I know the sheriff's drives one, and then
They've got,
Joe's got
dog. The ACO doesn't have records. They've got
He has one, yeah.
Yeah.
They got dog
I'm just saying, when sheriff gets ready to upgrade,
Upgrade his vehicle, swap that truck out.
swap it out, give it to the animal control officer.
And did you say they have a grant for the
band.
for the bed?
I mean, for
For
the
the animal.
Oh, so they get a grant for that?
So I mean, I totally agree with everybody else. I guess.
Was that a matching grant? I mean, what's the 45,000 for the truck
That's the
itself?
truck.
For the truck itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because to me, on that list, that's probably the least priority.
Well, I mean, 45,000 on a truck, that's pretty basic. A new one these days.
That's all they're asking of us, right?
Well, so
If the insert's free or a grant,
they asked for how
4 other vehicles.
4 vehicles. And, we reduced the sheriff's budget by about 180,000. And, trying to level set budgets from previous years instead of having, some increases. We're trying to, because our budget's flat right now, which means it's decreasing. So we were trying to cut costs based on what I heard, understood from this board. So when we meet with the constitutional officers, I kind of gave them the priorities of the board, which were communications infrastructure project, EMS. And, we got into some hard discussions with each of the constitutional officers. I offered the sheriff to cut funds other places, but he said he thought that was the best place. If we had to take a reduction, that was the best place to take it.
Can we get some kind of report on what are the standards by which an animal control officer is needed in this county?
Sure.
And we're talking about vehicles, we're talking about sheriff's office and mileage, and it's very disheartening when you drive into another county and you see a Grayson County Sheriff's deputy vehicle parked in another county. That's a lot of miles. And I know, we don't have control. He sets his own policy and interprets that however, but, maybe things could be a little more frugal. I think we need to be frugal when we can.
Okay, everybody good with staff looking into? Supervisor Ash sent us all the Virginia State Code and said the county may have an animal control officer. Doesn't say that it shall have, so. Just me not knowing enough about the position, I'm unsure how much it's used.
Well, it's used.
We should have, yeah, we should have statistics that we received from the Galaxy Animal Shelter on how many animals are brought to the animal shelter from Grayson.
Yeah, we'll know that because they charge us.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and personally, and this is a side note, but personally, I've been a vet for 12, 13 years in this area, and I've probably helped being a patrol officer as of now more in the past year than I've ever been asked for any. Just saying, I think the other vets would probably agree, because I know I'm not the only one that calls. But I don't know, just check the statistics.
May I ask what you help with?
Large animal abuse, neglect.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
He's on top of it, man.
Yeah, they get a lot of welfare.
okay.
Besides just picking up strays and all that, they get
Yeah.
a lot of welfare checks.
Horses talk too.
Any other discussions on the?
Yeah, let's keep going down the list if we can. The public works roof. On Monday, when the roof was leaking, that was kind of an exceptional event to get 1¼ inches in less than an hour. Is that replacing the entire roof? Is there a patch that could be made, or is that just a
That
guess?
is not. The last time, and you can correct me if I'm wrong because you were here, but they actually got a bid on the entire roof. And because my question was, they got a bid on the entire roof. They didn't have that much money, so they patched part of the roof.
You got tires up on it now.
Yeah, the part that they patched, because I said, well, why wouldn't you do the shop? I would think the shop would be like priority number one. He said, we had rain, this was Kim. We had rain coming in both mine and Jonathan's office. So they patched that part already. And what has happened is the part that they didn't fix, the wind came in and now they had to put tires up on the roof. So, yeah.
I don't have an issue, but apparently the size of the public works roof is about 1/5 of what the Kate Center is. Yes, just based off of.
And this was really just an estimate based off of what it cost to do the last part of the roof and how much was remaining. So
Can we ask what didn't make the list to obligate that remaining $788,370?
it would be on your CIP numbers.
Those guys.
That's what did not make it.
Yeah.
So if you want to take something.
Except for the lights, we had to
That's it, yeah.
So if there's something you want to do on there,
pick something off of here.
The roll-off Peterbilt.
We don't have that much.
Well,
I was gonna say, no, they don't swap out dollar for dollar.
Can we use that 45K towards something that's already in the budget? Put that towards the deficit we have?
You can use ARPA
No.
money.
No.
This has to
We
be.
we
have
have to
spend
obligate
this.
it. to
But
something.
that 10,000 for the public works out there would,
For the recycling building,
yeah,
like we,
That-
I think that's in.
you could do that and the,
Bleachers.
bleachers.
That's those little green buildings that we have set now.
Right, you do the bleachers and maybe the tennis court repair.
Those three items, if you want to do those, we can squeeze those
So
out.
the tennis courts were fixed.
It takes a lot to maintain a tennis court though.
That's, yeah,
So that's for tennis court maintenance.
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 Mhm.
Well, I think we spent a lot of money on the tennis courts last year, but I do know, that if there wasn't 2,000 people out of that rec park 2 Saturdays ago, there wasn't anybody out there. And the bleachers on field 1 and 2, no, we don't get any return on it, but I'd kind of like to see that, maybe the recycling building take up that new trophy.
Was that a Top Gun tournament?
It was just rec ball.
It's rec ball.
I think the bleachers that used to be there just got wore out.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Moved
And they weren't
around and
compliant?
banged up.
Yeah.
Right.
They were.
They're dangerous.
Yeah.
My son got cut on.
Oh,
I'm with Brandon. I think our rec park, with these tournaments, the way Keith and Dylan are doing the tournaments and just our rec days, it's a real boost to our local economy.
I'm
They do
telling
pretty
you what,
good.
Jonathan Looper's got an efficient group. The rec park is incredibly efficient too. I don't know if y'all had a chance to go out and see the falls yet, where they fix that parking lot. Just the comments I heard from everybody, how beautiful the parks look out there, and they do.
Supervisor, to your point about the tennis courts, I forget how much it cost us, several $1,000s to get it looking like it does. And now that guy has recommended to Keith, that the minimal maintenance that you need to do every year or two to keep the little cracks from becoming big cracks.
Would they be happy with 5,000 and then it's a wash?
that's what I would probably
We
recommend.
we can work this, if the priority for is to do some of the bleachers, the tennis court, and, the recycling, building, we can switch those 2 items.
Yeah.
Easily.
I agree.
I would say too, like, the guys out at the public works, they do a lot of the maintenance. They do it, they save us a lot of money, like you said, 20,000, putting that bid. And Keith and them do a lot of their own maintenance and things. So, and those are our people that live right here. They pay the taxes too. That's what makes this place so great is those types. So just encouraging to know those things. And when you hear department heads talking about how they've saved us money, or I think that's a plus. I just want to highlight.
Yeah, to Mr. Anderson's point, the reason we bought a tractor this year and some other equipment is because for years, last couple of years, Keith has been using his father's tractor and his father's chainsaw to try to save money.
There's no question a dollar spent with either one of those groups is stretched out to $5.
It's efficient.
Is that all you need from us on those?
And do you want me, that's good.
Is everybody good with bleachers, tennis court repair, at least a portion of that, and the recycling folks getting that built? And removing the animal control officer? Yeah, okay. That obligates all of our funds.
That obligates our ARPA funds. We may have, we'll have to work on those. If there's something else that the board would like to see, we have another 15 or 20, we'll either use, a CIP project, or we can come back to the board during session and say, hey, we need to look at this. There's something you want to think about.
Recycling.
Okay, with all of that being said, ARPA money is obligated. If we do the $2 a month rate, or $2 a month rate increase, and we do a fee for service, how does that adjust that difference of $793?
793 minus 186.13. I don't know the fee for service yet.
Well, at $20 a sticker, 2,500 people would have to buy the sticker to be able to take it to zero.
No, that's only 2,500 times 20 is 50,000.
That's big for them.
For the convenience
Just think
center.
for the convenience
She
center.
said just.
Oh,
pay for
oh,
the
yeah,
center,
I'm
not
sorry.
for the-
I thought you
Mom said deficit.
Yeah, he's like, no, we're
Sorry, I got you. I got you. If we come up with a solution for, stickers, people that are abusing the community center, we have probably a solution in place for that for years, is what I would say.
So that would it change half of it? So that's, think we could garner $25,000 in revenue for the convenience.
There's just no way to really know how many people are using that,
Some
right?
people may say, hey, well, I'm gonna put it in my driveway there.
I don't know.
How long do we have to kind of see? Because I feel like there'd be more people using it this time of year, correct? Do we have any time to kind of gauge?
What we don't
uses?
know is just like, we're gonna come up with a solution.
Right.
I'm not sure what that solution is gonna be.
Mhm.
If the people that are already paying their if it goes to 240, we're at 218, it goes to 240. If they're already paying, if we go with another sticker, I'm just not sure how that.
We don't even know what the solution is yet.
Yeah.
No solution, I don't know how to give you a number.
So 793, you take 180 out of that.
613.
So we got 613 budget shortfall. And that's 3 cents.
Two and a, so a little bit maybe?
25 times 2 is 3.
25K off for the water.
We get,
That's the 35% was already in your number,
oh,
not the 50.
But if we get more aggressive on it.
And it's potentially $25,000 more.
We'll see here, 575.
It's 3 cents.
And, you have options, your real options are a cut somewhere else, or reduction in other department somewhere, a levy increase.
The number that sticks out to me is in 2026, it's gonna be a 13 cent. And I don't want to raise taxes, but I think it's irresponsible to just put our head in the sand and wait till 2016 till a 13-cent increase is necessary to operate. And I don't think it's fair for anybody that will be sitting on this board in 2026 to have to, that we punt the ball. I feel pretty comfortable that we're going to get around 4 cent savings next year because we're doing away with the CIP from school. I'm not going to dig my heels in on this. I hate to see a tax rate. As a taxpayer, I'd rather see 2 cents a year for the next 3 years than all of a sudden bump it up 13 cents in 1 year.
One of the unknowns we don't know is Baywood, Bell Creek. The EMS budget is going to drive this county's budget in the next couple of years. It's just going to drive it. I think
It's just over
we just hit $2 million. And I don't see an end to it. I mean, we've all read the articles of where we're headed with this. There's not a simple solution for the county. You talk to Carol, I know exactly what they're doing. They're hiring some new EMTs. They're trying to build some sustainability there. I reckon, Mitchell and I talked a little bit about 1.4x7. We're out ways to save some money, working people. It's just going to drive a budget. I don't know anywhere we'll have to do some consolidation. I've had some discussions on consolidation and paying for that service. Yeah.
Speak to that a little bit. The thing I was talking about is our first responders. There's one in the budget, but that's drives around a little vehicle, the first response vehicle. And
Two.
yeah, there's two. There's one in the budget, one additional in the budget to make it 23rd for this year. Right now, they're just working the same as every other county employee, classified the same. They're working 3 12-hour shifts each. So we're not covering, they work 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 12 hours a day, because we've got 2. So we're not covering 50% of the time. Most, like Carroll County, with County, they're classified as fire and rescue, and they work a typical fire and rescue schedule of 24 hours on, 48 hours off. It's just kind of a typical thing. Every Galax Grayson does it, almost every, they do a 48 or 24/72, which would be additional people. But if we went to that schedule with 3 people, we would have a full staff. We'll cover 24 hours a day. We'd have to start bunking people, and we'd have to hire part-time staff for when our people are out. But, and then I think at the model we're at, we would have to be at five employees to cover 24/7 on the current schedule, or with the 12 hours a day. So I think we need to look at establishing fire and rescue, because they go help on fire calls. They don't go in to burn a building. They provide support. Our fire departments need that. And I think we need to look at fire and rescue and maximize our benefits, because that's what other counties really does and lower our costs. And this is a forward looking. This is forward looking as well, because the time's coming that we're going, like Mr. Boyer saying. And I think EMS is going to drive our budget. But
Well, it would be nice, just from a personal perspective, if we see this coming, it's irresponsible not to be taking back some money that we're gonna have to be using for this. And I think we've shorted the county a little bit over the years, and we don't have a CIP budget. We have a ton of stuff in the CIP, but last year we went from 59 to 52 or 57. On our left revenue.
We went from 59 to 54.
59 to 54.
And I believe, what was the staff recommendation on that?
Staff recommendation was go with 56, stop at 56.
Staff recommendation was go with 56. Board made the decision to level set, basically, right?
Yeah.
And the reason we did that is because the assessments during COVID, I mean, we all remember the home prices, when homes went up, was it 34%? Land went up a lesser amount than that. And just to keep from everybody getting the sticker shock,
Sure.
we just brought it back and said, let's figure it out. Let's figure it out next time. Well, I think we're at that point where we need to start thinking about raising our levies to not just for the same amount of revenue that we got last year. Last year, everything's going up.
Yep.
And we're gonna have to at least keep pace with that, or we are gonna find ourselves with a mob saying, why in the hell did y'all raise my taxes 13, 15 cents when you could have been doing it?
Supervisor, I've ever heard that every time that when the 44% was put in. Numbers of residents said, why couldn't you do it a little bit at a time, 2 cents at a time, 1 cent at a time, rather than 44%? And then we almost got there again when we raised it 7 cents. And, and even at 7 cents, they were saying, why 7 cents? Why didn't you do it two, 3 years
One thing that we have in our favor for the next 4 years, we know exactly what the revenue is gonna be, because we don't get reassessed again until 28.
Now, we're one of the few counties on school. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, go. You got it. Go ahead.
I just wanted to give you a little historical synopsis of the tax rate, because as I'm looking at these rates, 2018 to 19, it was 49 cents, okay? It went all the way up to the 7 cents to 56 cents, then up 2 cents the next year to 58 cents, up 1 penny to 59 cents, and then we dropped it down to 54. So any ground that you may have gained when you're raising it incrementally,
We've lost it.
yeah, we lost it when we went all the way down to 54.
That's how the board chose to do that 7 cents. They said, let's do it 2 cents here, Mike, you may remember better.
Yeah.
Two,
Over the
three.
next,
Then we backed off of it.
and I think we were supposed to be ready up to 61 and 62 like this year.
Yep.
And I don't want to say that it was irresponsible to go back to a net nothing. But if we know it's going to be 13 cents 3 years, and we know we're going to get 4 cents back from the school, then we need that 3 cents every year for the next 3 years to get us to where the county's going to have to be in 2026.
In that financial forecast, is that keeping everything the same, keeping pace with inflation, and is that adding EMS? You said EMS driven.
EMS was a driver, the big financial driver in that financial.
So was that?
And I remember, I'll have to go back and look, but as I remember, that was the big financial driver.
That we're gonna have full paid EMS in the county.
It was gonna go, I don't know that, I think we can get maybe more efficient than what the plan originally was.
That's what I'm saying. I think we've already made some cuts this year that.
Well, I mean, even from the ES plan that was presented in the financial forecast, I could be wrong about this. I think the number was around $4 or $5 million that was spent on EMS.
We can beat that number, I think. Could be wrong.
I hope.
I would hope.
We're at $2 million right now.
Yeah.
Grayson County has demonstrated on financial forecasts that we always do a little better than planned. Most of the time. Well, I think every time we've done better than planned.
I realize we need to pre-plan, but if we're going up on the levy and the vote and we're gonna tell people, well, we're considered for EMS, that's gonna be the driver, but they're not seeing any EMS improvements. We've got rescue squads shutting their doors. It's getting worse. I don't think people are gonna take too kindly to it. So if we can make some, I know this is gonna be a process and this is gonna drive the levy up, but it's gonna be a multi-year process. And this current budget year, we're making a little headway with the one first responder.
You also remember where Galaxy Grayson EMS is.
Galax Grayson EMS had an increase in
That's
their
a
budget,
significant increase in the budget there.
about 50. I can't remember. Probably 80.
More than that, I think.
No, I think
So
it's
many
supposed to be
numbers.
more.
I think you guys cut it back some.
Yeah, we cut it.
We cut it back some.
We cut it as much as we could cut it.
What we did, and you know this as well as I do, that if there's no response, those numbers are just driving up. We don't have to pay that bill.
They wouldn't freeze.
Exactly, and the time's coming with if somebody, we're gonna have to come up with a long-term plan on that, because short-term plan started on Galax Grayson, who is runs too much or overran as it is right now, so. Just my thoughts. I think we need to be thinking about that long-term plan, and I think it's gonna start hitting this next budget year.
Baywood's down, I heard scheduling going 4 or 5 days a month.
I got the missed call report and it was over 50%.
So you're right. I looked at it when you said that. I looked at it.
So what I'm saying is, I'm not in favor of raising taxes on citizens until we actually do something to help. And saying it's because of EMS, but we're not doing anything to help that.
Well, how much has it increased our budget with the two? I mean, we are doing something. 13 cent increase is $2.4 million. That's, did I do that wrong?
Yeah, you probably did about right, yeah.
I haven't looked at EMS budget, but it's, I mean, I think it's 1.5 last year, 1.7. It's
About two.
it's about $2 million. Drop.
That's fire, that's emergency services.
Yeah. Full.
And one thing we gotta think about, those the fire truck money and the rescue squad money, it came from ARPA, didn't it?
No.
They didn't? Okay, but that's a long
We would
term,
have been able to use ARPA if we had bought a truck.
but we just didn't
The
find it.
fact, there was supposed to be a fire truck in there.
Mhm.
But the fact that the board chose to just cut payments to the fire departments, we lost the ability to use ARPA.
And that's a long
Use
term,
General fund money.
That's a long-term commitment to all
Well,
this.
that was a request from all of the agencies to come in, instead of just giving us an apparatus every year, just commit the money every year that you were gonna buy an apparatus and then allow them to all finance it.
Cause somebody was gonna be at the end of the line and it'd be 5 or 6 years before they got anything. So that way we're trying to even it out.
Well, I personally feel like the responsible thing to do is set a plan to increase the levy for the next 3 years at a much smaller level than a sticker shock in 3 years.
$0.13 will definitely be a sticker shock. It's something people are not gonna be budgeting for.
I get the sticker shock argument, but we had that same argument 2 years ago when we first got here of 7 cents. And initially, that's what we was looking at. Then we had the property reassessments, and we ended up going down the levy instead of increasing it 7 cents. So I'm not at a point where I'm willing to support tax increase.
Where do you suggest that we find the $800,000 that we're?
Well, we've still got money in the school budget that we could look at. I mean, we just have to look.
Would you recommend not fulfilling the agreement to the school this next year?
If we've got to raise taxes to fulfill the agreement to the school, then I would say yes, let's look at that.
That's what, 600?
No, total 780.
I'm in favor of that over raising taxes. Next year, we're not gonna have the 800 or the 786. That's the 4 cents.
You just took that money away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Next year, it's not gonna be a cost either. So our revenue,
You're saying you're not going to fulfill the agreement, the original agreement, period, at all. You're not going to push that till next year.
the 786 that's in the,
It has to be fulfilled by 2025.
Yeah.
So if we don't do it this year, we have to do it next year.
Are you not going to do it yet?
or we're not gonna do it, yeah.
Not gonna do it at all.
Is your point, this money goes away, that balances your budget. The school doesn't get, they get 325, they don't get this piece right here. If you push it to next year, that's your 4 cents going. If you do it
Yeah.
this year,
If it's, yeah, I get what you're saying.
so.
Yeah, I mean, over a tax increase, I'm in favor of that. There's concerns that the agreement was not fulfilled anyway. I don't think we've got those questions answered that we've asked.
And this is not a slide on anymore, but this agreement, it sounds good in theory, but there's nothing on record. There's nothing to straw from. There's no parameters, nothing for us to look at. And the end result looks like we're gonna have to have a tax increase to fulfill that.
Well, I'd have to go back, we'd have to look at the minutes, the discussions. You said there's nothing on record. I would assume that you guys had discussions in session about that.
Yeah, there would be discussions in session.
I wasn't. We didn't document it formally. What I think is once we come up with this decision to the school, that we have some type of formal, memo to them to let them know this decisions are made. Because it might be better to do it that way, but I'm certainly, there was discussions with the board on these things. I would assume.
Are we still at 20% on the general fund?
Were there questions from us you're looking for on this agreement? Staff here? Okay. I wasn't sure.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to
I
make
mean,
sure.
I think there was concern from all of us that the group wasn't
Yeah.
completed.
That was a totally different set of money.
That's not the 786?
No, that was the 3.
Oh, okay, well,
Like,
That was where there was money.
That was an
to support
additional
the football.
$750,000.
so that was not a portion of that. Okay. I was confused on that part also.
It's okay, it's a confusing. Got me confused.
And I was confused on the 850. I thought this year RLE was increasing 850. That was wrong also.
So if we stay where we're at, excuse me, if we stay where we're at on the levy and take Supervisor Anderson's suggestion to look at school funds, where does that put us for the next levy? Possible assessment.
We need to go up 6 cents next year.
Really? We'd have to go.
Well, all of it depends. You know, I say
Right.
it depends. It depends on what you decide with the school. If you stick to the 3 1/4 number, it depends on things that break. It depends on Baywood, depends on Free, it depends on Elk Creek. I don't know how to give you a solid answer on that, Doc. I think from a projection standpoint is if the EMS, I get it, Mr. Burnett's one as well, that I'm not sure exactly. I think the board has told us to slowly start working towards this, because this is coming. And that's what we're trying to do, is slowly take a bite out of this. And there's no way to do it. We don't have any additional revenue coming in. There's no magic pill that's coming. Nobody's building, a plant here. There's no major businesses coming in here. We're at a kind of crossroads here with the EMS. We're trying to fix this communication system. We fixed it with a loan, so we're pushing that away. But these are going to come at us quick in the next couple of years, and so we can push it off. At some point, somebody will go to the middle of this. Nobody, I don't think anybody's jumping up and going, "Hey, I want to raise the levy 2 cents to deal with EMS or the other issues that are coming." Nobody wants to do that. It's face it now, face it later. Or push it off and deal with it in a couple of years.
Kicking it down the road is not responsible.
And the 2 cents would have been the recommendation that was given last year, but the board chose to go 2 cents less.
We based 2 cents obviously on the prior decisions that were made, right? So that's what that isn't, there's kind of if you want to change something. If you want to
The
change
big
something.
hangover that we're gonna have that's coming, it's gonna be the last, you could have about made any decision in the past couple of years and gotten away with it with all the hard.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
had a bad day, you decision to do Louisville Lane, we got $550,000. That's not happening.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Bad day comes, there's no magic pot to draw from. It's not, we don't have $4 million in a pot, $3 million in a pot somewhere. It's just not there.
Not gonna be that.
It's not gonna be there. It'll be either incur debt, reduce services, or raise that. With flat 20. We could have a discussion about changing the assessment. Most counties do it in a 4-year period, we do a 6-year period. I'd have to weigh the cost of that and give you some data on that. But that's still another couple of years away. And then you'll have headaches then as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's, even if their house is reassessed for more money
Yeah,
and we keep the levy the same, it's still a tax increase. It's
I got it.
just on one side or the other.
I got it.
It's not gonna make people any happier.
We don't have to decide this today, right? But you need to,
Pretty close.
Okay, this is what I would recommend, because we need to go out for ad. My recommendation would be to advertise with a 2 cent increase, because you can go down from your ad, but you can't go up. Okay, so if 2 cents is the most anyone in this room would go up, advertise a 2 cent increase. And then you can choose, opt, down and not have a tax increase. And we just have to work the numbers.
Well, the
So
math,
we could say that and not commit to it.
your recommendation of 13 cents in 2026, the math doesn't work out if we stretch it out evenly at 2 cents. So I would recommend that we put it at 3 cents and have a public hearing.
Okay, all right.
And we can always go down from 3 cents after the public hearing, can we not?
Yes.
So that's
Just because you advertise a tax increase doesn't mean you have to implement, right? So. But if you only advertise for 2, you can't go up to 3. So we can advertise at 3, you can choose 2, you can choose 1, you can choose none. It's still up to the board.
Anybody have any issue with that?
2023, it was 59 or 60, 59.
2022.
2022.
2022 is 59. 54, I'm sorry, it's 2024 now.
2022, 59, 2023,
54.
So it would be advertising at 57.
And if I was reading I think it was the financial report, right? It was last year, they used a pretty good amount of fund balance. Is that right?
They budgeted to use fund balance, but they didn't end up having to use it.
But wasn't that a pretty substantial number?
It was yes. It
Like
was
$1 million?
over $1 million that they,
Why did they not have to use it?
because
Their
they had more
savings?
revenue that came in that wasn't budgeted for. And sometimes less expenditures, just like this ambulance, you know, 2-year lead time.
We can
Make
always
some,
come
some
down.
in
Yes.
other funds like ARPA funding.
We can come down.
Yeah.
It's kind of the worst case scenario.
Strange.
You can advertise it, I'm not gonna be in favor of it.
Anything else before we go into closed session?
Just all we can leave is, I know we're advertising. I know it's a mixed board on this. These are, we need more discussion on school instead of advertising for tax levy. You brought that up, but just moving it forward.
I'm in favor of fully funding that CIP to $2.1 million that we agreed to do. And that anything that comes out of it has to be approved by this board.
Okay, so what I hear this week, what I heard from the board is we switched these numbers back to what the original 325 and 780. The CIP is still.
That's just my.
We don't dish out no extra this year. We stick to the agreement if that's
Stick to it, because the idea of the agreement was supposed, because we know that when all the ARPA money is gone, there would be 2.1 sitting there that for emergency fund to fix stuff around the school, that we wouldn't have to keep adding to the county. And once we do that, if it's funded at 2.1 and we go back to 350 above RLE like we had historically done, and we pick up 4 cents there. But I mean, it's a tall lift to get to 13 cents for you.
Maybe we don't have to do that. Maybe we can, what this is the last issue, a little harder. As been said, I think the county's done its best to try to get in front of some of these issues, but I do think from a planning perspective, we gotta think about these things.
Kind of the tone of this board at the beginning of the year was, let's cut where we can cut. Let's don't do any pet projects, and let's finish what we said we were going to finish, which is 911 communications and cell towers and the west end of the district, and keep pushing with the broadband stuff. Not taking on, and it doesn't look like we're taking on anything extra.
We don't have any, we're
cut out every, technology. So it's,
There's not a department in this building that's happy with you.
I got it. I got it.
And thanks for,
Thanks for your service.
yeah,
I
thank
know,
you.
exactly.
Thanks for coming out.
I know.
I got it.
What I'm getting at is maybe unpopular, but every department has had a cut, except the school system,
And I guess my rub,
from 2 and 3 years ago.
my rub is that there was some negotiating with, to finish the football field, and it looks like that might be coming back to bite us right now too, a little bit. And we don't know about that roof. I mean,
So the history on that, as I remember, Mr. Anderson, is they came back and said, we can't put a roof on the Cape Center because we're $750,000 shy. Well, we all knew that the field was gonna get finished one way or another. And so I don't remember the vote on it, but it was to approve $750,000 to finish that football field. And in return, the county got a shared use agreement with every school property in the county. And we got that. Whether or not the $600,000 to put the new roof on happened, I don't have any clarification on that. And that's the rub. I think that's the rub with everybody. And I'm sorry I accused you of not putting it in there, but it was up to $1.8 million and it had kept climbing and climbing and climbing. The whole idea was let's split the middle on this, but you can't use the money for 3 years.
And it has to be approved.
It has to be approved.
And it has to be approved by the board.
Well, I think we're in a place where if we fund the CIP, the money's there for, they've got a good pot of money, 2.1 million.
That's more than we do.
They got more than we do, I promise you that.
Yeah.
For a bad day at the school, that they can come, present a logical plan, and you can have the ability to say, Steve, Midge, Nikki, execute. So that's there. I mean, Ford funded that project.
Not only has it not been cut, Mr. Cornett, it's grown. I mean, you can look at the school budget, which we don't have any control of, but
That's what I'm getting at. Their budget's growing, we're cutting everybody else's budget.
Well,
I mean, I think we need to spread it out a little bit.
one thing, Mr. Chairman, I've heard through the years for a while now is, and the county's not able to grow a CIP fund. You know, now they're going to have $2 million. Our CIP fund, we're still hurting. We can't even pay what up parking lot that year.
all right.
I'd say it's overcut. All right, go ahead, sir.
I think we've kind of beat this for now. We've got everything you need for today. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
So,
Second. First and second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. I'm also aye.
That's good. Good. Can you shut that?